How's everyone doing? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
There
Yes.
we go. All right. Cool. Well, people are loading in, but you guys, tonight's open question night. So it is your night where you get to ask anything. Not that I don't answer almost every question on the other calls, but um, it's open question night. So tonight, like what I like to do is just get kind of right into it. So who's got stuff on the agenda? Who's got things moving? Who's got things going on? And we want to hop right into it. Let's see. Getting this set up. No one. Um, Sandra, you said you got questions. What do you got? You guys don't be shy. Just hop in, start just firing away. But Sandra, I see you're up, so I cannot hear you, Sandra.
Now?
I got you now. Now I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Okay, question. I do have a project. I do have the duplex finally approved the loan by the bank, but I still not understand completely the numbers. They borrow me 229, but they take the lot and the plans in consideration and ask me about $33,000 plus closing costs at closing.
Yeah, hey, Sandra, do you have a copy of your term sheet by chance?
Yeah, yes, I do. But I
Is
don't know. I have to call my daughter to see how I can share with you because I'm not very savvy tech.
Oh, no worries. Do you want to, can you email it to me real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you
Well,
send me your email?
yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. And then I think this is good for us all to look at too. So let me pull it up and then we can read the term sheet together.
So you want me to send you the sheet that the bank sent them to me?
Yep, send it to me and then let's pull it up. So I think this is a good
Okay.
exercise for everybody. Um, and
And they like I'm very stressed because I borrow the money thinking that I'm not gonna put so much down, and plus I have to have like $40,000 in front of me because I gotta pay the vendors. The concrete of the slab. They're not gonna let me finance 30 days or more than 30 days until the inspection.
okay, because you've already started work on the site.
No. I have to start when they say okay. But like I say, I have to bring in 33 plus closing costs, and then I have to have $40,000 more to pay my vendors, like the providers or the contracts.
Yep, no, I got you.
Okay, let me see. I'm fine. I'm trying to find the paper that he sent it to me.
Yeah, and you go. So the reason I want to look at this is your term sheet. Yeah, well, especially right now, as you sending this to me, you guys. I mean, whose phones are burning up with hard money lenders calling them?
Oh, yeah, they everybody asking for that.
Yeah, and so you guys, there's definitely based on this term sheet, I'm going to kind of go through questions. I have a lot of this in Project Flip, um, but I'm going to update this a little bit because I will say, you guys, the people calling you with hard money loans, and I hate to say it this way, but they're full of shit.
Mm,
Because they are throwing out numbers, you guys. Those are called teaser rates to get you in the door and to lock you in as a profile.
mhm.
I went round and round with a couple lenders just for my own curiosity. Just like, all right, well, what are these guys talking about? And I can tell you their intro was like, hey, we can give you a 8.5% because you're a high volume guy. You can do 8.5%, 1 point for a year, and we'll finance you 95%.
Oh
That's
wow.
and so that's what they told. And I'll go, okay, well, tell me about that program. And they go, well, it is deal specific. That's the next thing that comes out, right?
Mhm,
But then I walked them through a deal that we had just purchased, you guys. In this property, we had a loan,
mhm.
paid 900 900,000 for this property. It's a big fixer, and
Mhm.
it's worth up to 1.9 million.
Wow.
Big complex project. It was actually getting shopped all around town. No one wanted to touch it. And it's in an A-class neighborhood, and I feel like I'm an A-class operator. We have liquidity, I have experience, prime location. The dirt's worth near what we're paying for it. Our loan to value after repaired all in was going to be less than 65% on that deal in a class A neighborhood. So I gave them this one, which would be a no-brainer to get their best terms. And then they come back, they go, okay, well, after looking at this, we need 15% down, 10% is our rate at one point. I go, well, that's not what you just told me. They're like, oh, well, it's deal specific. And so I go, well, tell me what does that mean? Like deal specific how? And they go, well, it's just specific. I'm like, okay, but is it a max loan to value constraint? Is it a location? And they can't answer you guys. And so the stuff that people are promising you on the phone is not real. And
Yeah. Yes.
it's so, and
I
that's
send
okay,
it to
but we
you.
need to know what the numbers are before we buy, right? And so just dig in. Now, I'm not saying that's the case on yours, Sandra. I just wanted to see what they're saying.
No,
So,
no, no. And that's what that's because I'm here, like, because, I mean, this is the bank. This is a local bank.
which is
Yeah.
good because they're gonna give you the lowest rate for sure.
Mm-hmm. I send it
Um,
to you. I don't know if you have it.
okay, let me see. Exit full
It's
screen.
coming from SNA Stucco, from SS Stucco
Okay,
04.
let's pull this up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So let's pull this up. And so Sandra's scenario we've been talking about now for I think about a month or so. Um,
Yeah, a little more. Yeah.
so she bought this land, she owns it outright,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. You guys, that's the collateral you can use to buy to get loans. So Sandra was thinking that if she owned the land outright, that she'd be able to get a construction loan for the entire amount. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Which can happen. So let's look at why. And is that what the bank also told you?
Yeah, I think it's I'm trying to understand, but I think I told him I'm probably gonna sell the property, but he put in maybe like I'm gonna keep it, and because I talked to him about it. If we can sell it, I'm gonna keep it. But then I think he take that in consideration. I don't know. So it's we doing other projects with this bank, and they always borrow. They never ask me for closing costs. This is the first time, so that's because I'm kind of, I don't know. Yes, because the how the market is, well, because I don't know politics. I don't know.
No,
Okay, I
but,
don't.
but that's what I want to dig into because there's going to be a reason. And so,
Mm,
like, let's get clarity behind that.
mm.
Typically, it's going to be your loan to value that they're only going to issue you a certain amount of money for the finished product. And so that's what we want to look at. So, can you guys all see my screen?
Yeah, I see.
Okay. Sandra. Okay, here we go. Um, Sorry, guys. For some reason, this pop-up screen for your guys' faces are all staying in front of my face for some reason. There we go. All right. So you guys can see this term sheet, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So what we have here, guys, is borrower or LLC that she's been granted to. Sandra is signing as the grantor. It says the face amount of loan 196 based on the cost of construction of 229. Okay, so they're agreeing to give Sandra 197,000, divide that by 230, that they are financing her 85% of the construction build out. So, and then it says purpose alone, drawn down line of credit, construct a single family investment at a rate of 8.5% for 1 year, then Wall Street Journal prime plus 1% adjusted annually with a floor of 8%. So basically,
I don't understand that part.
okay, so you guys, the 8.5%.
Mhm.
So when Sandra's building this house, she can factor in her pro forma that she's going to have the money locked in at 8.5%. And she's only going to be charged interest for the amount that she's utilizing on the construction amount. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're only paying interest when you're drawing it.
Yes.
And so that's
And
good.
they,
That's a normal term.
yeah, and they put me only 5 draws. So usually they don't do it like that before, but now they only gonna give me like 20%, 20%.
Okay. Um, and that's what, let's dig into the terms real quick, and then let's figure out what the problem is, and then how we can try to create the solution. So it's 8.5%, but then Wall Street Journal. So they're going off Wall Street Journal, which I've never actually seen that before, but
Me neither.
uh,
That's why I wanted to have you on the phone. Thank you.
uh, I've seen LIBOR and those things. I'm actually Googling that because I've never seen it that way. Prime. Okay, so they use to set their rates the Wall Street Journal Prime for whatever reason, which is a little weird, but their prime rate right now is 7.5%. And so if interest rates go up to 8% after 1 year, Sandra will be paying 8% plus 1%. So her rate after 12 months is going to be 9%. Now, if the Wall Street Journal drops down prime, which is just an indicator of bank rates, if it goes down to 7.5%, she's going to be capped at 8%. So no matter what, her cheapest rate on this is going to be 8%. And if it goes up for whatever reason, she's going to be paying more. Now, the fact that it's fixed for 1 year is a good thing because it's probably not going to take you more than a year to build that house with a permit, right?
4 months. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 months. So
Yeah.
you don't need to worry about that too much. And then it says repayment terms, interest only payments for 1 year, then 20% amortized with the principal plus interest. So what this is repayment terms is that it's interest only to build and then 20-year amortization with principal and interest payments due monthly
Mhm.
is where that payment. So your payment's going to go up too after 1 year because you're going to be paying down the principal. But again, you are building the house. You're going to build it in 4 months. Shouldn't be too much of a concern. Okay.
Okay.
Loan amount for the draft for the bank is auto draft. So basically, you have to have an auto fee in there, and then
Mhm.
origination they're charging 1%, which is going to be $19,600 on this loan, or excuse me, $1,900,600. And then they have security loan will be with a mortgage. That's normal. Assignment and leases, rents. This is kind of standard title in here.
Mhm.
Nothing too crazy. So, do you have their initial what their loan? So, the thing that we want to look at right now is Sandra has a piece of land, and now they are requiring her to bring in 15% of the build cost, 33,000 for her to get this
Yeah.
construction loan.
Do you see that? The 32,963?
Yes, yes. So what their loan terms are is they're basically giving you 85% of your construction cost, so that's of your construction costs. What you want is your true cost financed in, which is the cost of the land as well. So you want a loan to cost, not just a loan to construction cost.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Because
because the
what
land,
did you pay for the land?
the land we bought it like I don't know 7 years ago, and it was cheap, like maybe 11,000. But they do a pressure like 2 years ago, and they do 35,000, and that's what I put. But I don't think so. They take in consideration that.
Okay, so if they're due 85% of loan to cost, you need a loan balance. So your construction would be 230 and the
Mhm.
appraised value in the lot should be 30. And if they do 85%, they should give you a loan for 221,000, which would reduce your down payment by $20,000.
So that's what I wasn't. So I never hear the. So tell me again. It's two different things.
Yep.
One is 80% of the loan or the cost, the construction.
Yes. So what I want you to do is email your banker back and
Hmm.
say, thank you for sending this. Um, I have no problems with the terms, the rate, or any of the points. But typically, when we finance deals, we get 85% of total loan to cost for cost of land and construction. Is there any way for us to do that?
Okay.
And
Oh,
so we want to know why they didn't factor the land in, because typically a bank will.
yeah, they
They
do.
but the thing is, Sandra, one thing that you want to ask on these lenders is, do they have a maximum LTV, loan to value, for the new appraised value? That might be why they're not putting it in. What is that duplex worth with your comps?
They do send me when I talk to him it's between 325 to 350. I can
Okay.
never say it right. 350, 350.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with 325 for now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the good thing is typically a bank will lend you, you guys. So, a lot of constraints for banks, right? When you hear guys say, hey, I'll put down 5% down, 10% down, they have a maximum loan to value that they can do that. That's going to be their kind of cap. And most of the lenders out there are going to cap it at about 70% of the new value. So if you ever hear like, hey, a lender will put down 10% down, but they cap out at 70%, you always want to take the value of your property, the 325,000, times that by 70%. That's going to give you a loan amount of 227,000. So that fits inside what you have now. Now, if they say it's 65%, because some banks do 65%, that would put you at 211, so it'd still be higher. And so I want you to go ask the broker and say, I really appreciate this. I like the terms. Everything's looking good. But one issue I'm seeing is you're giving me an 85% loan on the construction cost only.
Okay.
I was hoping to be at a 85% of loan to cost of purchase and rehab or bill
Okay.
costs.
All right. Yeah, because now I have to put like 32,000 or the 33 plus closing costs, plus I have to have the other 40,000 the to pay the concrete, the pump, the contract to do the slab, the all that, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's almost like 70,000 plus. So it's a lot
Well,
of money.
yeah, so let's do this first. Let's focus on the loan.
Uh-huh.
And then, there's the good thing is, there's different avenues, because what you're looking for is you want the advance funds because you're getting
Mhm.
reimbursed. And so we can talk about how to get a private money second for that for you, where it's just a short-term loan that might be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, that's uh, you know too much because I have an investor that he say he can borrow me 40,000. He asked me, he see the paper, he said I can borrow the 40,000, and he charged me 10% annually.
Okay, that's
So,
that's good.
uh, it- but that's I was thinking it's okay. But then my I keep in the duplex. I want to refi, so I'm not gonna have money to because I need to do another duplex. I have like 7 lots to do duplexes. So I was hoping when I finish this, I can get I don't know 40, 60,000, so I can put it next to the next duplex. So I don't have to have all this stress. The borrow money here, borrow money there. I
Yep.
don't like it.
Yeah, and so what we want to do is, you guys, one dog at a time. We want to focus on the primary and go, okay, private money, we can bring that in. I mean, luckily there's people in the group that will also lend you that money too, or, you have this option at 10%, which solves that problem. So now what we want to do is get the bank to give you a loan for 85% of total loan to cost, land plus bill cost.
Okay,
And
eighty
then what I would
percent.
and then what I want you to say though, you guys, so it's all about how we ask the question, right? Bank gives us a term and we're going, okay, well, you give us 85% of build out costs, but we want a total project costs. And so, Sandra, ask that question and say, and for your information, that because we know banks will do 70% or lower, and say that's going to, you know, that will put you at a loan balance of two and say, so sorry, let me one rollout of you are looking for, thank you for the terms. I'm good with all the terms. I'm looking for a loan for 85% of total loan to cost for build cost and land acquisition costs, which would put me at a
Mhm.
loan of 220,000, which will be below a 70% loan to value because that's how
Okay.
bankers think.
Okay. 70% value.
And then what I want
Just
you, and then let's just send that over to them and see what they say. They might have to re-underwrite the loan, but he'll tell you what his did he ever give you a term sheet with like the max they will lend or anything?
no.
Okay.
I have it from another lender, but I don't go with him because his interest was a little higher. It was
Yep.
like 11%. They told us the 85%, but I never know these terms like you say. I never wish know the difference until I write it right now. Because I know we do in other houses before when we flip houses, and they never ask me that kind of money, that much money. They say okay, but this time is I don't know. But I'm a talk to them. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's so let's find out that term. And then that's where you guys, Sandra wants to make a decision. She can get a bank. Let's say they won't give her a change. They go, sorry, we're unfortunately right now, we're only going to give you construction costs. We want the dirt included. Sandra can either take this loan at 8.5%, which is a great rate for build. That's what banks do if you get a through a bank. But you got to leave more money in the deal, or does it make sense to pay the 10.5, 11% and leave a lot less money in the deal? And that's what we want to evaluate, you guys. Sometimes the cheapest money is not the right term
Yes.
because and also like if you're looking at your total bill cost, the difference between 2% and rate on a small loan for 5 months is not very much. It's going to cost you I mean, you're looking at a difference of a loan of 222 times that by point owed. You're only looking at a difference in interest of roughly $2,700 to not have to come up with a bunch more money, right? So you guys don't get blinded by the rates, right? I use expensive hard money because it's easy, it's fast, and I can get deals done. Like
Okay.
I don't mess around with the slow lenders. I can't do it. That they don't move at my pace. But
Okay.
if the other lender, so when you send that email off, I want you to email the other lender too and find out what their max terms are and how much they'll lend you. Because then we can
Max.
look at how much cash do you want to put in and is it worth the savings or not. For $2,700, if I can leave 30 grand out of that deal, I'll pay that. I'll pay the 2,700 bucks.
Yeah, yeah, because right now, if you look at all the numbers, is I have to bring the 33 plus I have to have the 40,000 plus I buy the lot, I buy I pay for the blueprint for the permit. So I'm investing from my own money almost more than $80,000. So I'm
Well,
like, wow.
and did they not roll in? You guys, this is another thing you want to do on your construction budgets. Can you add in your plans and permits to your construction budget that they're going to reimburse?
They require to me they have to have the blueprint stamp in order to give me the loan. So
But you
which
can put that in your construction. But so the money you came out of
okay.
pocket with, are they going to reimburse you in your construction loan or no?
That's the part I don't know. Okay, now they're gonna give me 196, but they want me to bring 33. So and the total is 229. So that's the part I'm confused about it.
Well, how much is your construction bid to build the house, the duplex?
The duplex, we think it's gonna be 230. No, because we remember we do a lot
Okay.
of the work. Like
Yes. Yeah. So 230,000. And then when
mhm.
did you have to submit them a budget, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So in your budget, did you put in plans and permits and all that stuff in there?
I'm not include the plans, but I include the permits.
Okay, so you guys, this is really, really important when you're getting construction financing, especially for banks. Banks want more money in a lot of times.
Mhm,
But the good thing is when you submit these budgets, Sandra, always add in all the costs that you paid for inside that budget. Like
mhm.
the plans. If the plans are probably what, 4 or 5 grand in there?
It was cheaper because it's somebody that I'm working with. But
Okay.
it's, yeah,
It's
like I've been working with him for 10 years, so he's good with me.
Yeah, and so you guys, anybody on the call, if you're ever submitting for a construction loan after you've bought land afterwards, any cost that you've already spent on developing surveyors, geotechs, plans, you can
Mhm.
add that onto your construction budget that you're submitting to the bank for
Okay.
a loan approval. So then when you get that loan funds, you can get reimbursed all that because that's a cost to build the house.
Yeah.
And so always don't forget about those costs because you can get reimbursed for those fairly quickly and you can sometimes pad those up a little bit too. It's
Yeah. So
because you guys it's all about structuring the deal. How little cash can we put in these things a lot of times. And so Sandra, what I want you to do is send that email to them and then I want you to email that other hard money lender at 11% and
mhm.
find out what their terms are and what their max loan balance they'll give you and then we can evaluate it and pick the right loan.
All right. Thank you so much. It's very stressful.
It's okay. But the good thing is there's a solution, right? And so but you know what? Thank you
And
for bringing that question in because you guys, this is really important. You guys, leverage is key to growing in real estate.
yeah, that's
And put,
a feeling stuck because it's a lot of money to put it in, and like it's. But one more question before you can go to the next student. Uh, the the is if they keep, but are they gonna roll the? I don't have to do another closing, but because they say they're gonna roll up the yeah, keeping the apartment, they're gonna roll up the loan to 20 years. And they're gonna raise the interest every time the market go up. That's the part that I wasn't complete. My English is not my first language, and my kids are like they don't want to. They're not interested in this. So
no, so you were saying, is the interest going to be rolled up?
the interest is gonna when I finish. If I don't sold the apartment, yeah, keeping for me. They're gonna roll for 20 years, or they're gonna give me a like permanent loan. That's what I think it is.
And is that permanent loan at 8.5%?
That's they say in the paper they're gonna like kind of I don't know, yeah, he sent me a bunch of stuff, so I don't know. Yeah, send you that one, but it's like he's gonna go, the interest is gonna go up. It's not like if I don't know, it's gonna fix rate. I probably have to look in the paper and send it to you.
You find out the terms of that because what it's probably going to be is like prime plus a certain percentage. So if rates go
Mm.
down, you could be getting it cheaper, but that's important to know whether you should keep it or not. And you guys, so on this loan, this is called a construction to perm loan, where
Mhm.
if you have a piece of land, you're financing through a bank to build out your property. You guys, this leverage is key. If you ever want to be a developer, you guys, you have to understand this leverage. And so how it works is because you don't want to build it and not know what your interest rate are because you have to run your rents. And so when you go to a bank, you can ask, hey, if I'm going to keep this, you can get a construction loan. And then they automatically refi you into a, a, a term of rate. They typically should be able to tell you that rate though and not make it floating because that saved people's butts during when rates shot up and people had locked in these loans. When rates shot up to 7, they were still able to refinance them at 4%.
They say in the paper I sent it to you, they say interest only payments due monthly for 1 year, then 20 years amortization with principal and interest payments due monthly. That's what it is?
Yeah, and so how I read that, it's 8.5%.
Oh, okay. So
And then
it's not gonna go up.
your
This
payment will go up because it goes from interest only to principal and interest.
okay.
So your payment will probably go up about a couple $100 a month. But
All right.
honestly, by the time you're done building that, like next year, your rate should be lower. You'd want to refinance that in 12 months anyways.
Okay. With
You'll be able to
another
get a lower loan than 8.5% in
with
12 months.
with another company with another bank.
Yeah, or with that same bank.
Okay.
So also ask if there's a prepayment penalty, Sandra. You want to make sure there's no prepayment.
All right. Oof. Uh,
First things first, let's focus on getting the construction set up right.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I talked to him. I'll send an email and I'll
And
let you know what's going on.
your other lender. I want you to email them too.
Yeah, I have a question. The last question, he sent me an email and he say the underwriter find out the your cost to build is too cheap. And he say it's a reason because of that. And I respond is we gonna do a lot of the work. We're not doing nothing structured, you know, plumbing, electric, AC, slab, everything is a contract because I want, it's a structured paint and floors and stuff like that. We probably can do it, like
Yeah.
it's not science and we're not breaking the bank. But the fence, right here we do the fences and the flat work. Uh, but this is any reason because they asking you that, like.
Well, yeah, I get that sometimes on my rehab budgets. Like, wait, how is this happening? And so typically what you can ask for a bank, be like, no, we feel comfortable. We're self-performing. We're bringing in the trades. We're builders ourselves. But if the underwriter's really concerned, they're worried about you running out of money in the middle of the project and they get a
Mhm.
half-built house. So you guys, another thing you can always ask a bank for is a 10% contingency on top of your budget to float you.
Oh, all right. But they need to put the 10% or we have to have the 10%.
They put it on top of the loan, so it adds to the balance. So you be coming in with 15% of the extra, basically.
Okay,
It would still
sounds
make
good.
less money out of pocket for you.
All right. Thank you so much. Oof.
It's okay. And Sandra, if this loan doesn't work out for whatever reason, which I think it will, if you're really building that cheap, there's a different way we can set this up to where we make your bid a little bigger.
Mm,
It is still going to fit in those requirements. And then as it funds down, you're going to be getting your down payment back when it finishes. So
okay.
let's keep working this because this doesn't work for you right now. Let's see the other options and see if they'll change it. And if not, we can submit it a different way too.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alex.
So I have a question about draws.
Yes.
I have to call my lender to find out how they work because I haven't requested one yet. So they made me submit a scope of work by like section, by like line item, like plumbing this much, roof this much, whatever. Um, so when it comes to the draws, just because I had some cash on the side, like can I submit a draw for like three of those line items so that it's just one draw, or do you think they're gonna make me submit a draw for each line item? Do you do that
Look,
sometimes?
you can submit a draw. It does depend on the lender and how they. So a lot of lenders will do like percentage of, and they have a minimum draw amount that you're requesting because do they charge you every time you take a draw?
Yeah, that's why I was kind of trying to lump like at least three or four things into one or
Yeah, and that should be fine. What they want to see you guys on construction draws is percentage of completion. And so, so Sandra, or sorry, Alexandra, sorry, we were just talking to Sandra on repeat. So what you want to do, let's say you completed your demo, right? That's 10,000. I'm just using round numbers. You've started your plumbing and plumbing is 10,000, but you've done 20% of the way. So you want to kind of allocate a percentage of the work that you've completed, and then you can put in a huge lump at one time. You want to don't get feed up. So try to do it like 20% increments if you can.
okay.
So get 20% of the scope of work done and then add up all the things that you've done percentage wise and then submit it that way for reimbursement.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, because I was waiting. I didn't want to just submit it for demo and then like keep submitting a bunch of draws. So that makes sense.
Yeah, because
Um,
you get charged probably what, $250 every time or something like that.
yeah, this one is
Yeah.
199.
199. They threw the 99 on there, did they?
Yeah.
It's but yeah, so you don't want to get feed to death on that, but it's you guys, and these are important questions to ask. You guys, construction draws, how do they work? Right? Typically, a construction lender is going to do a reimbursement of draws, and they have a process for that. When you're interviewing these hard money lenders, those are things that you want to ask those questions on. How does your draw process work? Is it done through a third party provider? Does someone go out there and check it? Because sometimes these guys are a nightmare to deal with. Or is it done with a picture report? And typically, how do they break up their draws? Because you don't want to get in that friction point when you need the money, you can't get to it. And so the time to negotiate this and know about this is when you're asking for the hard money loan in the original first place, right? These are the questions we kind of go through in Project Flip. Like, how do your construction draws? Do you reimburse? How long does that take? What's the cost? What's the process for that? Do you do an advance draw? You know, like an interest funding, our hard money company, the day you close, we cut you 20% of your rehab up front. But we're freaking expensive. We're 12% and 2 points, and we're fast, right? So that's the more money you have to pay for your loan, the better service you get typically, or more access. And so it all depends on that. And those are things that we always want to ask before we get that loan locked down.
Okay, I have one more question I've been thinking about. So my budget that I took out for the hard money was 150, and then I had like 50,000 in cash, but then I also have a HELOC. So now I'm wondering, but my HELOC was only 100. I'm wondering if I even should have done that because my HELOC rate is lower, but like I don't,
Well,
I guess it's too late.
no, but it doesn't, because what's your HELOC rate?
8 point something.
And then what's your hard money loan? 10?
It's 950. I think HELOC is 850 or 87.
Well, I mean, I think it's good to have the HELOC for reserve cash if you need more capital.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you're only paying interest on your construction loan when it's drawn down. So even though if you haven't tapped into it, you're not paying
Mm-hmm.
9.9% on that loan amount yet.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really matter because you can kind of manage the liquidity. You could use your HELOC for the first 50% and then do one draw and then a final draw so you don't have to pay all those $200 fees.
Okay, yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like,
And
should
so
I use the HELOC?
you can. I mean, I would do it just to kind of advance. I mean, right now, if you have 50 grand cash, I would use that because you're not paying any interest on. And then reimburse yourself. And then, if I had access to that funds, I'd probably just do like two construction draws, one at 50% and one at completion.
Okay.
Because it
Okay.
will save you, a point on your rate, which the balance isn't that big, so it's not that, but the $200 adds up quick too.
Yeah, I'm trying to save where I can. That's why I asked. Okay.
I mean, if you wanted, you could just do one final draw at the end too.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna
But
play
I
around
think
with
it's
it.
good that you got the construction funds put in because even if you didn't use it, you're not really paying for it.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's always best you guys to set your deals up with a little extra liquidity because the worst thing we can do is when we start running low on funds, we make bad decisions and we get very erratic. Ruben, what's up, buddy?
What's up, James? How you doing?
Good, dude. How you doing?
Good, man. I'm all right. Dealing with this deal I have going on here in Arvada, Colorado. And we're talking a little bit about funds and budget, and definitely over budget at this point. Um,
Yeah.
so we had a
What's the reasons for going over budget? Is it like unexpected items or
yeah.
misquoting?
So I had to do an asbestos abatement on the property,
Okay.
and that cost me like 34 grand.
Why so much, dude?
'Cause they treated it like a major spill.
Oh, because you contaminated shit around you. Or they said you did. The dust, they found particles in the yard and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had to dig up the sod and they had to do all this other stuff. So
So
that's
you
why I
had some
put.
messy ass demo guys in there.
Uh, well, that's gonna be kind of my next question, because this is my second time using this GC, and uh, it's the second time that it's happened to where I give them a call to get an estimate, and then once we're under contract, once we close and we start construction, you just like, oh, I forgot this item, I forgot this item, and it's gonna be an additional expense. So that's part of the reason why we went over budget as well. From the original budget that we had of 130,000, we're probably going to end up around 140, plus the additional cost of the abatement, and then just a bunch of extra stuff like ILCs and permits and structural engineer, etc. So I'm like, and I feel like, obviously they called the city on us. Um, but I just feel like we took too long from the time that we closed to demo to, permits and getting the framers in there. Like that took like a whole month. And I'm like, that's way too long. And so I think what I want to do next project is just see it myself and just kind of, I think that'll give me a better understanding of how the process works and also the cost of construction.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like this guy's not. So last time, because he went a little bit over budget, right? And there was some lack of clarity,
Yeah. Well,
and then and he was late too.
yeah.
Um, and so yeah, we got to start. What I would say, yeah, the starting subbing in generally in yourself is that's a great way to get going, start learning things. I know Tyler just went through a bunch of that where he kind of was subbing some things in too. And there's definitely a learning curve to it though. And
Yeah.
so I think this is the right choice. I do think you got to get rid of this guy because he's just obviously not running his job sites right. Most of the time you're getting called on something like that, it's because these guys were just making a mess in general. Like it wasn't that even what you were doing, they were just being really sloppy with it. Um, and he's probably not your right guy unless he's super, super cheap and you use him on certain things, right? Which he doesn't even sound cheap. And so he's expensive and causes you headaches. Not the right guy. But so what I would do though is I would find a general contractor for your first one that you're going to sub out. And I talk about this on the bundle method on Project Flip. Get someone that can do your framing, your plumbing, and your electrical for you and your windows. So they can get the site set up right for drywall and finishes. Because you might pay a little bit more putting that guy on that, but then you can start really managing. It makes your life easier for calling and sending guys out there because if you hire a framer by yourself, they're going to go through frame the plan, but there's going to be some sort of little pickup framing that the electrician needs and the plumber needs. And then you got to call that guy back out there and he's not going to show up for 4 days. And so I would say on your first one, try to get a general that will just do your rough-ins. Windows, framing, any kind of siding repair, electrical, plumbing, HVAC. That way it's set, and then you're just calling drywallers to get estimates. You're like, I need this drywall. You can call 10 drywallers. They can go out there. It's ready for drywall, and you get estimates rather than having to mess around with things for a week. Um, and then you start to learn that as you start to meet new trades, and then you start doing that. So that's at least what I would recommend. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm trying to process it to understand uh where so obviously I'm gonna get an estimate from the GC for those rough-ins, right? How much that's gonna cost on the project. And obviously I have to do this like as I'm walking the property or prior to actually submitting earnest money for the property. And so how would I know what the cost of all this additional stuff is?
Wait, walking the additional.
Meaning like the drywall and like all the other subs that I'd have to call, like, because obviously I want to incorporate the rehab budget into my numbers as I underwrite the deal prior to
uh,
me committing to
So right now, your contractor's budget does work in the initial. It's the execution that's not working, right?
the execution and then the additional expenses that would.
Yes. And that might be a scope of work thing, and we should look at that, like bring in those change orders to look at. But what I want to start doing to understand those pricing is, for example, on this house that you're doing now, how much plumbing are you doing throughout the whole house? Everything?
No, not everything. I mean, I'm adding up a bathroom in the basement. Um, and swapping out the primary bathroom. So
Wait, you're probably replumbing the kitchen too, right?
kitchen, yeah, because we're shifting the island over. So that's about all I can think of.
How many baths are in the house in total?
As it so with the basement, it's gonna be Three.
Three. Okay. And you're messing with two of the bathrooms?
Actually, three and a half.
Okay, so you currently have three and a half?
Currently have two and a half.
Two and a half. And you're not replumbing the other two. What year's this house?
70s.
Okay. So what I would do is on a 70s house. So like let's put it in blocks as you start doing this to for because right you have two construction bids. How old is your last house?
What do you mean?
What year that last one you flipped? How old was that house?
It was around the same age.
Okay,
It was like 5 minutes away from the one that I'm doing right now.
perfect. So 1960s. So I want you to take the square footage and divide that by your plumbing because is it all broken down in the bid for you? Like plumbing is one line item, right? Not a big lump sum bid at the end, right?
Plumbing is one line item that came out to 10 grand.
10 grand on the button. That's how you know you didn't measure it. How much was it on your other house?
I don't remember.
Okay, so pull that estimate, and this is what we're going to start doing. I want you to divide, because right now, as you're learning this, we're going to take averages. And you guys, this works as you start to learn. So if you have this house that's 2,000 square feet, let's just say, and it's 10,000, your cost to so for a 1960s house, when you're looking at your next deal, you're going to create a plumbing budget, and this is the simplest way to do this right now as you start to learn, is you are paying $5 a square foot to do your plumbing. So then I want you to go at your look at your other estimate, which is a similar house, right? Similar era,
Yeah.
and look at what was this price per square foot that you paid for that plumbing job too. If it's around $5 a foot, when that's something that you can go, okay, when I create my budget, I've already paid this twice, so I know this is doable. And then Ruben, I want you to add in any of the plumbing change orders too you paid on that house because that goes into it too, right? Like for your averages. Same with electrical. So you can take your total electrical for these two 1960s houses, divide it by the square footage, and it's going to give you a price per square foot based on your average between those two houses. We're going to start that way as you're creating your budgets
But
because he's not giving you a broken down bid for us to work off of. He's just giving you a bottom number, right?
yeah, so the way that I've had to do it with him is, since I lock up the property, and I don't get a solid bid from him because he's like busier running around before I lock up the property. So with this one, I had to give him a call and just like say, hey, I need this because I need to submit it to the bank to be able to get this loan. And so, he was driving and I was just kind of going through, all right, how much for this? And then he was like adding stuff on there. So it wasn't like super professional. You know what I mean? It was very informal. So I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, yeah, and the cheaper guys will be more informal. But right now, what we want to do is just take that comment, and you should do this on your first bid, looked at your plumbing bid, and then looked at this one and go, why is this more or less or the same, right? And so I want you to go electrical, plumbing, framing, windows. How many windows do you have in there? What were you paying for windows? Take the total amount divided by your window count, and that will give you an average cost to install your windows. And
Okay.
let's start with the rough ends, but you can do that with every line item, and that's going to give you our first baseline. And then we can start looking at, okay, was that too cheap? Was that a good price? And you can start working on, okay, well, now I know when I'm calling out, this is what my number should be around.
Okay.
And this is like the simple way, and then we'll refine it as we get more estimates through.
Okay. Cool. But yeah, so hopefully we finish on this one, here in the next month or so and then put it on the market because I'm likely going to lose money on it.
Well, hopefully you're not losing money on it. Was there how much profit was in the deal?
So initially I underwrote it $130,000 rehab, ARV 815 to be conservative, uh 4 month 4 month completion. I think there was around like 60K.
Okay, so now you're at six
Wow.
months
I'm
roughly.
doing it with a partner. So and I borrowed for the second. So I have to pay that out. But yeah, so it's likely gonna be 6 months, probably 180,000 rehab, and I'm gonna try to push the sales price to, probably less at 825 and hopefully get like 835 for it, depending on the market and rates and what
Okay. I
that.
mean, is there anything you can pick up cost on right now to offset the asbestos?
Well, it's kind of hard because I've mentioned it to the GC
Yep.
and he's aware of the situation. Um, and obviously he said, we'll try to look at things and see where we can cut. But it doesn't sound like he's gonna be too helpful.
Okay. Yeah. And so you guys, a lot of this too, like when you're asking the general, we want to be a little bit not, don't be rude. Don't be, just be directive. Like, hey, man, look, we obviously stepped in some shit on this job. And now we got L and I here. We got shut down. This sucks for everybody. Sucks for me, sucks for you. Because did he get fined?
No, no, he didn't get
He
fined.
didn't get fined?
I don't think so.
Oh, he lucky.
If he would have gotten fined, I'm sure he would have mentioned something.
He might be getting a fine if it was his guys doing the work. There's probably something coming his way down the road. Um, it's whoever hired the workers is who gets the biggest fine.
Okay.
But don't worry about that. That's his problem later. He'll get it in the he'll get
Well,
something later.
I just hope it doesn't come back around for me, because so here, here's the kicker, like he's using somebody else's license. Or I'm pulling permits through like a structural engineer slash.
The permits won't matter with asbestos. It's a different department. They're gonna go, but when they do show up, they're gonna go, who was working here? Where did you dispose it? And did they interview people?
No, no, we just got a call from an inspector, and I just, hired a company to go out there and do the testing, and
Oh, they
then
didn't shut you down?
they did. They put a stop order,
Okay.
and then we just went through the abatement process last week. That took about a week. I mean, it's like this whole thing, like they put a whole tent like around the property, and it's pretty wild. But
How many quotes do you get on that, dude? The asbestos?
cool.
Always get like 5 or 6, dude. I've had quotes like at 50 grand and I do it for 7.
That's fucking wild.
You just gotta, you guys on asbestos removal, call. It's like one of the most marked up things. It's like mold remediation. It's
That's
very
insane.
expensive in the wrong thing. So always get numerous quotes, right? More than 2, especially on that stuff. Don't worry about it too much. It might not be that big of a deal then. Like in Washington, they'll shut you down. They'll interview everybody who is working. They want to know who touched the asbestos, where it went, and they really drag you through the mud. You actually probably got out way a little easy. Um, it's not very enjoyable. But typically, whoever hired him, which would have been him, would have got the worst fine. And then you would have got a fine as being an owner, just because technically every house is supposed to get an asbestos survey before you start work.
So yeah, that's a good kind of segue. What's the best way to handle it in the future?
Don't get caught. No, it's you guys. A lot of rehabbers don't do this. I do abate most of my properties. Um, because
So
we do a
obviously,
lot of volume. We're well known. I just don't want to mess with it, so I just eat the cost. Most rehabbers I know in Washington don't do that though.
right? Yeah,
And what I would say is keep a very good, clean demo crew. Don't make a mess everywhere because when guys are messy and there's drywalled shit in the yard, which there obviously was, it pisses off the inspectors and it pisses off the homeowners or the neighbors, and that's why you have an issue. It's the sloppiness of work is why that came out.
yeah,
If it would have been a clean job site, no issue.
yeah.
Or you guys can remove it yourself too. As a homeowner, you're allowed to remove it yourself technically.
Got it. So yeah, so put that. So I imagine I call an abatement company and get a quote prior to demo.
You get a asbestos survey. The
Or is this-
survey marks the spots that are hot that you have to abate.
Okay.
And then they'll give you a quote to remove those. They issue it's a 10-day notice typically to Clean Air that they're going to do the removal and then they come in and abate it.
Okay.
The survey's
That
first, it
one-
tells you what's hot and not. They pull about 40 samples from the house.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, well, we'll just keep
And
plugging
honestly,
on.
I've never had
How much
asbestos.
is that with the Safeway card?
Oop, oop.
I wish I could use my Safeway card.
All right, thank you.
There we go.
All right, thanks, Shane.
All right, cool, man. Neil, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. We got all sorts of different questions tonight. We got banking, we got asbestos, I like it.
Well, I have some GC related questions.
Oh, yeah. The bane of our existence, general contractors.
Actually, all good though. So,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, I started on a project a few weeks ago, and my GC's been killing it so far, so that's good. And I'm under contract and closing on another one in a couple of weeks. So, the two-part question. First part is I got 5 or 6 quotes from GCs on the first one. Eventually went with one who was, super so far. And I haven't let, I'm not going to be working with them because they were just way too high priced. But there are other ones that were good, but I just didn't go with them. And I want to keep on my bench.
Okay.
So how do I, let them know that I'm not working with them, but I do a lot of projects and I want to keep them on my bench, but I don't want to piss anyone off and not, go through the whole proposal or quote process with me the next time around, right? So what's the best way to like frame why I didn't go with someone? So that's number one. We could start there.
Okay. And so I guess one question is you didn't go with them for a certain reason, right? So you guys, this is a great time to renegotiate or set the tone for be very polite, very courteous, build long-term partnerships, but also set the tone on pricing, right? Because the best way to get someone to give you a good deal, and the next thing is to take it away from them. Like, and so it's an opportunity to build a relationship, but also set that tone. So out of, let's say, the generals, you want to keep 2 of them that you didn't give to, or let's say general, why didn't you give them the work?
I think the one we ended up going with was just he seemed a lot more experienced. My partner and wife, she's a interior designer and architect, so she felt a lot more comfortable with the guy we eventually went with. And when you walk a site or you go through the scope, when you learn something from someone, in terms of how XYZ should be done. That was really the reason why we went with this guy, and he was priced a little higher, but not dramatically higher. But like I said, we have. I don't want to tell him like, hey, we learned a lot more from this other dude, so we went with him.
Yeah.
I could go back to pricing, or yeah, I don't really know. I'm kind of stuck.
So on the other guy, so this is what I would do is take this as an opportunity. And maybe your gut said to go with this guy and
Yeah.
they were very close, but that's just the guy. And yeah, you don't want to tell him I like this guy better. That's
Yeah.
But it's an opportunity. You should definitely do what you're talking about. Reach out to him and say, hey, look, I really appreciate all the time you gave me. I'm excited to do some projects with you down the road. Unfortunately, I had to go with this other company because they were just a little bit better on pricing. And just I didn't shop you out. We had a blind bid. They just came in a little lower. And then also what I like to do is and they guaranteed they could get it done in this time.
Mm.
So then it kind of sets the tone that they were a little bit expensive and they need to be a little bit faster.
Okay.
And just say, like, dude, I really do appreciate that time. I'm not trying to waste your time at all. I got some other work coming up. I'll happily hit you up. I just want to give you the heads up of why I had to go this way. The deal's a little tight. We were pretty tight on it. This guy was a little bit under budget, even though it wasn't. And he could just guarantee this timeline for me, blank, right? Because you said this guy's been pretty fast.
So far, yeah.
Okay. And that way, then they can go, oh, next time, let me know. I might be able to revise my pricing a little bit better, or I can always give you a guaranteed completion date too, because that's what we want, the guaranteed completion date. I'd rather pay more
Cool.
and get it done faster.
Yeah.
And so you can start to set that tone and say, hey, I got more projects going on. I'll bring you out. Just I did go with them. I wasn't shopping you out. These were totally blind bids. I believe in that. And he was just a little bit faster. And was there anything else he gave you that you'd want on the other guy's bid?
Not necessarily. I guess another reason why I didn't go with him is because he was subbing out, things like siding, um, and his siding pricing was just a lot higher than my guy. It was weird because I've spent a lot of time, on your course and on your budget sheets, and um, we tried to go down to the side, well, I guess the math where, you know, if you had 1,000 square foot for replumbing or rewiring a house, um, you know, that's how I would shop and compare my quotes.
Yep.
However, you know, everyone was just different, and I couldn't get like an apples to apples on like, specific line items that I was trying to compare. But there are things that someone would be a lot higher on electric, but a lot lower on flooring, So I was just like, I don't know, maybe it's a art for them, which
But
was a little confusing for me.
yeah, and that's just who they know, right? Like
Yeah,
in generals, they know who they know, and unless they need to price out their electrician, they're just going to kind of go with their electrician's price. They don't want to go find five more guys and work with someone new unless they
totally.
have to get a better price. Um, and so what I would do though, and that is going to be the case, you'll get a variety of things in there. Start notating though, like who was really good. I like again, I talk about that in Project Flip, that bundle method. Because
Yeah,
I'll be like I have a contractor now that I will not have do anything for me, but I will have them do my framing, my windows, my siding, and my roofing. If I can cluster that together, he's definitely more money than my other guys, but it's done so fast, so professional, and it looks like new construction. And it costs me maybe 20% more on those light items, but the speed and the efficiency and getting through those sign offs so quick, it's worth doing. Now, if I have his electrician come out, it's like double my electrician. And so I don't ever have him bid anything. I only have him quote, hey, because it's efficient for me. I want you to come in, do the demo, the frame. Actually, I don't even have him do demo. I want you to come do the framing. Here's the plan. Order the windows, do the siding, do the roof. You're done. You can give people a section of work too. Or that general contractor, they're making money on that siding. So if you have a guy that had a really good siding price, notate that as a citer, even though it's a general contractor. Because you could just call them up like, hey, I got the siding project. Will you come look at it? They're going to quote it.
awesome.
And so
Cool.
I would start breaking those guys down into almost trades, right? And then eventually their sub is gonna come out to your house and you meet them. But it's lump them together because you're doing the right thing going through the bids and seeing who's where, but then start sectioning them off because I mean, who knows? You might have a total cosmetic fixture, but you need all new siding and windows. And you're like, oh shit, I'm just gonna call this guy to do siding and windows, and I'm gonna handle the flooring, the paint, and the easy stuff.
Awesome.
And,
Yeah,
and
I mean that I started doing some of that stuff, and it's actually working out really well because even on some of the stuff with this GC, I was like, hey, I'm gonna sub in, another flooring guy that I know because he's like 3 or 4 grand cheaper.
yep.
So yeah, I'm with you. Um, thanks. This was great, and yeah, I'll get back to the other dude because I don't like, leaving people hanging, especially
Yeah,
when they worked on.
just be thankful and say, hey, dude, I'm not trying to waste your time. And just, I didn't take your price and try to grind it out. I just want to be transparent. That's not how I do business. It's just, we got blind bids. This guy was a little bit faster, a little bit cheaper. He could promise the delivery and he was ready to start right away. And I just kind of went with him. I didn't want to come back and start negotiating you based on this guy's bid and playing that game. I just want to build a long-term relationship. Um, and then he'll give you some feedback too, be like, oh, well, next time run it by me, dude. Let me see what I can do. Because then
Yeah, cool.
his starting price. It's like a dating game. You're learning his stuff too. But just be nice.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you. And I guess my second part of the question is, um, on have you ever used GC for like 2 projects simultaneously? I know, I guess Ruben was talking about some of this stuff. Um, because this guy's been pretty good so far, uh, I kind of want to get a bid from him on the second project that I'm getting bids for. However, if I don't end up going with him, I don't want to create any animosity on the first one. Like what would you, or would you just say like, don't friggin' work with the same guy on two projects simultaneously? I've actually done that in the past and I got screwed.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, I don't want to do that anymore. However, he's good. So I have to ask the question.
I do. I run so a lot of my generals, like I have it depends on their bandwidth and I know what their bandwidth is. So I'm like, yeah, you need another job. No, you don't. Wait 4 weeks, get this one done. I'll give you another job. And so typically my guys are running 2 to 3 job sites at a time for me. And
Hmm.
if I can keep them in that volume, they're giving me a little bit better pricing. And
Got it.
so that's where they kind of talk to me and they're like, hey, if you can keep me in 3 jobs at a time, and they do get it done. There's a little bit of inefficiencies, but they'll guarantee me they're not going to take work elsewhere to where I don't know what's going on. Because I can guarantee you he's not only just working on your job right now. And
For
so
sure.
I'd at
Yeah.
least like him to be connected here. And I don't think it's anything wrong too if you have a good relationship. If he bids something a little high and you don't give it to him, it just keeps him honest.
Got it.
You know?
So it's okay to have him bid out this next one, even if I don't go with him.
Yeah, and what I would say, just as a backup plan for you as I was there, but yeah, I kind of paid a lot for this one. I'm a little bit tight. Here's my budget because he was a little bit over budget too, right?
Yeah.
And just see if he'll sharpen his pencil for you a little bit. And then if not, you've kind of given yourself an out. Like, man, sorry, dude, I was really tight on this, so we kind of had to go this route. My partners, we just had to go here. We were capped out, but we love what you're doing here. We'll get another project more similar to that. Are they very similar in scope of works too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
Um, so just tell them the margin's a little thinner as you're walking through. Be like, yeah, this one's just a little thin. I kind of got deal goggles. I paid a lot for this one.
Okay.
And
Cool.
then that way, be like, dude, I really wanted to use you, but fuck, man, I'm so tight on this deal. I might lose money, unfortunately. So I had to go with this other guy, but I got more stuff coming your way.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Because that's also,
Sounds good.
no matter what, he's going to bid the next project higher than he gave you this last one. So it keeps him honest too. I purposely will bring generals out to bid it and I don't give them the work.
Really.
And I already know I'm not going to give them the work. I just because their pricing keeps inching up, and then the best thing I can do is have them quote things twice. They don't get the work, and then they're like, "Dude, what's going on?" I'm like, "Shit, bro, you're just high." And you say you can't get it done any cheaper, so I don't want to call and beg you for it. So I just went with someone else. And they're like, "Oh, well, call me." And then they come back down, and then we play the same game on repeat.
Always. Yeah.
Always. So you always got to have at least 2 to 3 generals, anyways.
Okay, cool. I guess in my situation right now, yeah, I could get this guy to bid, which, now I'm talking to you, I will. I do want to build out my bench or build out the people that I work with. So I guess I'll keep you updated next time I'm on this call on the direction I go. But yeah, I thank you for the feedback.
Is it going to be an architectural digest again?
You have a good memory.
That's a huge accomplishment.
I don't know. Three of our projects got featured in some form last year.
Oh,
So
you had
that's
3? I
great.
just knew about the one.
No, well, one of them was on AD, the other one was on another like big magazine. Um, it was on Domino as well. It was like iconic farmhouse facade. So that got featured there. Yeah, so it's cool.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, post some updates to your photos. That's cool stuff.
Yeah, sounds good. I will. And you're next week you're doing like a finding deal session thing, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Like how to track down more deals.
Yeah, because I'm struggling with that as well. So I'll hold my questions until next week then.
Yeah, you guys, that will be yeah, Tuesdays you guys we're changing the format a little bit, but just because we've gotten good feedback on how I've been doing it. So we'll be doing a little bit more teaching on Tuesdays and then the open question night. Some will be short lessons, and then some, if it's a big topic, I'll be talking for like 45 minutes and then opening up, same as normal. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Good to see you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Drew, what's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Just freaking buying more deals.
Are you getting through all your projects right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got one that's going to be done May 12th, two more in June, and then another one starting this week, tomorrow, and then one stuck in probate that I don't know when the hell that's gonna come through. But
That's
then
what's
I
happening
just
with my
got,
Newport Beach one. It's just stuck in probate.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like so one of the heirs sued, and now it's like going to I don't know. It's weird. Like
You
now
know
it's
what?
in
But though that
court.
time though, are you like if you're getting permits or like get your stuff planned in that breathing room.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly. I finally got in today to do my floor plan,
Okay.
get that done so I can start specing everything and getting all that. I have another one in escrow in Laurel Canyon. It's like this old rocker house, like Joni Mitchell and like all those people lived up there. And I kind of wanted your insight on what I did with this floor plan because it's crazy. The house was a 2-bed.
Your floor plans look like mine when I sketch.
I know it's crazy. I'm not good at it.
No.
I need to get better at it.
You know what? That's what the architect's for. You're just supposed to get it close enough.
Okay, yeah. So it's like, this house, it was originally the one on the right. So like when you're looking at the first photo, that family room, and then that's the house from 1958. And then it goes up to the primary bedroom, but that's really, again, part of the house from 1958. And then everything on the left is, hold on, let me pause this thing so I don't get calls. Everything on the left, so there's a garage. It's super long and it's tall. So I'm going to make an RV garage so you could pull a tour bus in there. And then you walk up and then you got the living room of the second house they built in the 70s, the dining area, this kitchen, this long half bath, and then this weird laundry. And then you go upstairs and you walk right into this bedroom. And then it's like huge, like shag carpet bathroom, walk-in closets, more closets. And then the room in the back is a freaking sauna. Or no, it's a hot tub. There's this was like a sex house or something. It's just, there's all these bidets and just sauna, hot tubs, like just weird shit everywhere. So what I did was if you go to the...
Okay, which one am I looking at? Let's start with one floor at a time.
Okay, so let's go. Yeah, so this is the main bedroom upstairs that you're looking at here. And
is
then
this what we want to start with?
Yeah, so then you go down the hallway, and then so to the left is this master bath, shag carpet, this long closet, walk-in closet, linen closet. So what I ended up doing was I was gonna make like the hallway kind of curve around into the room because it's absolutely massive. I mean, it's 30 feet by 22 feet. So that way the door comes into this bedroom. You can turn right, take out the door there in that hallway. And then I was going to make between the window on the left side and then the wall where like the freestanding tub is, I was going to do a his and her closet on both sides.
Am I looking at the right one? Hold on.
You are.
Okay. Where's okay, so you're talking about all right, so hold on. Let's back this up for a second.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so what are we trying to accomplish on this floor first?
So on this floor plan, I've got 3 beds. If you go to the one where I put it in red, you can kind of see my shitty drawing.
There we go. We'll grab
Maybe
that.
that's better.
We go.
So that's the lower level.
There we go. I got all sorts of. There we go.
Yeah, sorry.
This looks like you're bleeding out on this thing, dude.
Yeah, I grabbed my daughter's like crayons and started coloring, and then so you see I made that like hallway kind of curve so that way you've got the entrance to the bedroom, and then I was going to cheat from that, or we'll take that in the bedroom where I have that wall, the new wall, like move forward. I was going to put closets on both sides, have like French door, walk in, closet both sides, freestanding tub, double vanity on the right, a toilet with a door, and then a shower.
So real question, or question real quick. So this wall, you said you're making it curved to go around the windows. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be curved. It'll probably be a 90 degree. Like it'll probably be, but so
okay. So what you're saying is this wall coming into your bedroom will be flat.
Yeah.
I mean, well, hey, you got way too much room in this bedroom, dude.
That's why I was thinking, like, take some of that so you're not walking upstairs right into the bedroom. And then I was thinking, because I'm bringing that wall forward, then I could utilize that space to do a closet on both sides. And then I measured out where I have the bed in the middle. I have that measured out 10 feet, so it's 10 by 11. And then there's a shower at the end of the hallway. I was going to demo and then turn the hot tub room into another room.
Okay.
Keep the sauna,
So we want to keep the sauna.
turn the linen closet into a shower.
Is this the linen closet, the X?
No, that's a shower. So
Okay,
I was
got
gonna make that the entrance to the back room, and then take the walk-in closet. Yeah, and then take. You just use paint. All right.
Oh yeah, paint works, dude. Just throw in paint and you can delete
That's
it.
what I need to do.
Yeah, it's the simplest thing. Okay,
And
so
then
we
take
want to
out
get.
the door there, right above, like the hallway door. You can take that out.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to figure out how to better utilize this space a little bit.
Yeah, because
And
I was.
so, because
Yeah,
you got 22 by 95 here,
yeah,
and then your stairs. So this is a landing right here. So your stairs come down.
no, yeah. It comes up and then to the left and then up again.
Okay, so okay. Because this room right here, like in theory, this could be a bedroom, right?
Oh, you're right.
Because it's 29 feet long.
Yeah.
And then we could do a bedroom here. Because this doesn't really, you don't need access here, right?
Well, I guess to get around the corner is what I was thinking, like to the hall, like because once you come up the stairs, you run into that wall.
Oh, wait. Oh, so these are so when you come out your stairs, you're coming out where
You're coming into the room. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the stairs are flipped the wrong way right now. Okay, got it. Okay, but we don't want to mess with the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
Um, That will cost too much money. But right now, you got 22 feet wide, right? And you got 29, right? So if we cut that right in half, 29 goes to 14. That's a good size. But now, one question is, how big is this primary suites of the comps that you're using? Are they huge rooms? Or are they like normal sized bedrooms with normal?
They're pretty good size rooms, and it's a Hollywood Hills, so like the comp that I found, pretty much they all have at least 3 bedrooms, 4 baths. But really it comes down to views, design, and that's why I was gonna do kind of a bigger, like, primary, because I was
too big.
Yeah, not too big. I guess you're right, because there's a fireplace there in the corner. That's the thing on the bottom left corner.
Yeah, because even if you do this, you're still 22 feet long. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that's big.
22 and a half.
And then you're 15 feet wide. So this is a plenty big bedroom right here.
Okay. And then I could leave the walk-in closet where it's at.
And then you would put your door to your primary here.
Uh-huh.
And you can almost do French doors in
Yeah.
to make it a little bigger. Feel?
Yeah.
And then this is going to be your bedroom door roughly for this bedroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which could also be a secondary office for somebody too if they wanted off their primary.
Yeah.
Then I put your closet down here because it's away from your window schedule, so you don't need to mess with that. Or you could actually just go like this too. Actually leave that alone and go like this. So then you got bedroom here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna, yeah, because it's like too big, right? So it's like, well, how do we maximize this space? Because you actually do have this kind of cool party room that goes out to a deck too.
Yeah.
And so now we know we have this bedroom here. We got this bedroom. We have one. This is going to go to our suite in here, right? This section. And then we still got to get.
Yeah, I take out that weird hallway closet. Or I could put the laundry in there. That's what originally I was planning to put the laundry in there, in that weird hallway closet to the left.
Yeah, and we might use it for the master 2 bath.
That's true.
And so right now you got a 10 by 11 bathroom. This is a nice house, so kind of having some extra amenities right now are going to be good, right? Like, do you need a 5-piece bath for your master?
Yeah, that
Okay,
was my
so
plan.
all right, so let's tweak that around, right? So this becomes our suite we can work with in here. And are you budgeted for like a full replumb or am I going too crazy on this?
I have
Okay.
300,000, so we're yeah, reframing and verticals.
So you could go in this section here. You could come in. You could have a freestanding tub.
Hmm.
You could do a shower in this section through here. Oops.
It's the biggest shower ever.
Yeah, it's bigger the shower, the better.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm kind of working backwards. The first thing with floor plans, guys, I always like to go, all right, what am I trying to accomplish here first? And go, okay, this is what I need to accomplish. And then, and you guys, floor plans can be tough. Like I was working on one with Tyler earlier, and I was like, shit, this is a hard one. Let me know when it mocks up. I'll look at it again. But then you have a tub, a shower. You got room for that because this is 10 feet. So you got plenty of room here.
Well, now it's just to the closet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just to the
Yeah.
closet. And so yeah, I almost think your shower is going to be more like this in this zone. So it's kind of right in front of your windows too, right? So you don't need to move your
Yeah.
windows because,
Yep.
let's in some good light. Then you could go in this section here. You could do a toilet room,
Yeah, I definitely want a toilet room.
right? And this still allows you to get in then a vanity through here, like a nice big vanity that will kind of line up with your shower because you got 10 feet. So your vanity is going to be plenty of big, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can leave that closet where it was. And now you come in, you got a freestanding tub, big shower, double vanity, and a toilet room.
Oh, yeah.
And then, because that extra, I would just give it to the primary so it feels good, that weird closet up there.
Yeah. Because
And
I think
then,
my other layout, I was kind of making the primary suite too small. Like that was the one thing I was worried about with my layout is, these people, they want closet space. They
yeah.
they own tons of clothes.
Yeah, and it still gives you room to cheat over this way. You could even adjust this wall if you wanted it bigger, but you got plenty of room here. And
Okay.
then now all of a sudden,
And then I was thinking that back room, like at first I was thinking a gym, because right now it's got the hot tub in it, but I'm like, who wants to sit in a hot tub inside
on
when
the
it's
deck,
SoCal? Yeah, I was actually, there's like a few thousand square feet up the back and there's a flat spot. So I was thinking about doing like a cowboy pool or maybe something more like kind of hidden up with a walkway, like walking up to this like kind of,
like go through here, basically, in your deck.
oh, that's not a bad
Because
idea.
then, well, because you don't want to go into your bedroom, right?
Yeah,
And then you
'cause
can make this an optional room where,
yeah,
honestly, I'd almost go a single. You could make this a little bigger for a party room or bedroom at that
yeah.
point. And so this becomes a flex space. So it's attractive. You can get your closet tucked in. Or honestly, what I would probably do is go like this, bring my closet over, make this a one door, and then you can recess your closet to this one in, right? And so it doesn't affect
Mhm.
your flow or your windows because I don't want to move my windows because it costs more money, right?
Yeah.
If you do want to move the windows, no big deal. But if you then put your door up a little bit to a single, then all of a sudden on the backside of this closet, you can fit a closet in without messing with that room or window schedule at all.
Oh, that's smart.
And then one other option I would maybe consider is you could also try to make 3 bedrooms in this and then turn your primary off the back that goes off the deck because then the master has a big deck off of it.
Oh, yeah, that
And then
would
you
be
would just swap this to where your room's going in this way, your closet, then you could almost do like a hallway with Jack and Jill closets on it.
hmm.
And then you still are getting into your bathroom this way.
Yeah, because
So you
then
don't need to move all your plumbing around. And if it was me, I'd rather have my master in this space.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden you could actually get another bedroom in this section if you wanted. and do like a bedroom and an
Hmm.
office.
Interesting. Yeah, like an office where the fireplace is.
Yeah, because you have 22 feet. I mean, honestly, I would put the master off the deck, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then maybe I could even create this landing area as like an upstairs family or like kind of. No, I definitely want three beds in this part of the house.
Well, but you got 22 feet. You could actually get two bedrooms right here, dude. They'll be a little small, and then you
Yeah,
have a flex space up here.
that's true. And I think that would feel better walking up into this big old flex space
Yeah,
than
no, and then you come up
than
into a
hitting
flex
a
space. You got
wall.
bedroom one here. Oh, you got two bedrooms here because you had 22, what was it, 27 feet or 20? No, it's
It was
22.
22 and a half.
Okay, so I would do like one at 12, but the thing is you can still move everything down a little bit
Yes,
too.
yeah.
Like shift this down 2 feet, and then all of a sudden you got two 12-foot bedrooms here.
Yes.
And then because you don't need the secondary closet at that top room. So then you have a master that goes out to a deck that has access to a sauna, spa like, big bathroom, the other bedrooms in that corner over there, and then a flex space upstairs.
That sounds awesome.
And then this bathroom you need to reconfigure because it's
Yeah, I was gonna do like a 3/4 bath with that
yep.
double vanity.
And I would check that sauna. Is that worth money or not? Because you could make this bathroom a lot bigger and a laundry here.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
it's worth money and people like it, then leave it. I just don't know, like if it's a value
yeah,
increase.
people are going huge on saunas. I've
Okay.
just been seeing them. I mean, I don't know how much it works. If it doesn't work, then I'll probably get rid of it and maybe just put like I don't know. But I have been seeing it in higher end homes, like saunas. I don't know. People are just
Oh,
huge.
I like it. I'll take one for sure.
Yeah, they want a sauna and an ice bath. Cool. All right, that was really the biggest thing. And then I guess if you look at before I do have to head out, but if you could pull up my other sketch, well, I guess maybe not the sketch, but the lower floor where I put the kitchen and stuff.
Okay.
I just want to see really quickly, like, is it going to be weird to have this island in the middle of, because like I was thinking of trying to get the kitchen with an island, and then have dining on like where the kitchen is, and then right now where the dining is, turning that into like a sunken conversation pit or so that's the next floor up. You want to go one more? Sorry.
Oh, we got more floors.
Yeah, it's 3,944 square feet.
You about a rich guy house, man.
Yeah. I'm trying to get rich.
Okay, so let me get. Sorry, I got all these things up. I'm gonna restart. I opened way too many of these things. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see where this lands, but it's got potential to be a seven-figure flip. Like, we'll see.
Okay, so we got the first one then, or no, the bottom
So
one.
it would be the second one I sent.
Wait, no, the second one. Oh, with the red on it or no red?
No red, sorry.
Okay.
No red.
Well, the second one you sent me, as far as I can see, is the main floor, or the
Dining,
one we just did.
living- Oh, sorry. It's the one that says dining area, living room, kitchen.
Okay, got it. Okay, I got you now. All right. Let me see.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I'm putting like a recording studio in the old house. It'll be a one bed, one bath, and there'll be secret doors to get into that side of the house. It's gonna be pretty nuts. So right now the kitchen's really weird, and I don't like this dining area. So I'm gonna take the wall down between the kitchen and the dining area. And my thought was to try to float the kitchen like kind of where that hallway is, like kind of in that dead zone, and then have the kitchen area become the dining, and then this dining area nook, that's where the dumbwaiter comes out. So I was thinking of doing like a breakfast nook kind of conversation pit, like kind of seating area there, and then having the kitchen run along the wall where the windows are and have an island in the middle. I just don't know if an island in the middle is going to be weird. I'm just trying to, because right now I think it's just a big dining room with a weird kind of like spot that overlooks the living room.
Yeah, because and you need this flow through the hallway.
Yeah.
What's this primary bedroom going to?
So that is the secondary house. That's the party pad. So that's gonna
Okay.
have a one bed, 3/4 bath, and a small kitchen.
So a little mother-in-law.
Yeah, that'll be like a mother-in-law.
And are you sectioning this off?
Yeah, so on the hallway door between that and that, it's gonna have a bookshelf that's
Up.
false that you can push to like open it up. It's nuts. That house has like wood paneling. It's pretty wild.
What's this black
This
thing
is
here?
the listing. Huh?
What's this black square here?
That's the dumbwaiter. So from the garage, you got your dumbwaiter to take your groceries and all that stuff up to the house.
Got it, because it's a big hill. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, this is what I would do with this thing. Can these stairs be swapped over here? They look like a small tread of stairs you could swap.
Which one?
The ones on the dining area. Could they move to this other corner here?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Let's do that, because then we can go boom. You guys, I will say paint is not the most fancy thing, but it works.
I don't see your paint screen.
Oh, you don't?
No.
So let's see. All right. So what I was doing is I was putting the stairs here instead. Open up this, because then it squares up our dining room. And then what you could do is go with a longer linear kitchen that goes,
Oh.
because then you eat up into that dining area with your kitchen
Mm-hmm.
and still have that kind of party room vibe to where, I mean, this is a big kitchen, right? So
Yeah.
it goes all the way over down. You get a big island through here.
I was going to cut that laundry in half, so you've got pantry on that side, and then laundry. That's a door that goes out to this walkway, and that was going to be for the mother-in-law party pad laundry. So I was going to just slice it in half because I was going to have laundry upstairs of the main house. Was my
Yeah,
thought.
no, I think that could definitely work. I mean, honestly, this bathroom's also way too big.
Dude, it's so long. I was going to cut it in half and create a wet bar.
I don't know if you need a wet bar right off your
No?
kitchen,
That's true.
but you could make this your pantry too.
Yeah.
And then not mess with it would probably be cheaper. But yeah, I would cut that off, give a little pantry in this section here. But I would go with this kind of layout, because then your dining's here. You got a
Yeah.
nice big kitchen. It's not all blocky and shut off. It gets a little bit longer and bigger.
Yeah.
And then you only have to move these 4 stairs around, which isn't too big of a deal. And then it kind of formalizes this area. It's not too big now. And then
Yeah.
transitions in.
And that makes sense too, because you're walking up the stairs and you're coming up and you can grab your stuff from the dumbwaiter and head to the kitchen.
Yep. So it just kind of balances out that space. And then, yeah, I would definitely, laundry's a little big, but it's never bad to have a laundry, especially with that big outdoor patio. I mean, you could also just make your powder room smaller and put your pantry here, or you could
That's
put your
true.
pantry here. I would say whatever's most cost effective, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now,
Or you know
the
what you could
laundry's
do,
kind of
Drew,
a flex.
'cause
It's
a
like a
sick
pantry
house.
laundry.
You could do a pantry here and then do a
Yes.
wine display wall here.
Ooh, yeah. That's
And those are cheap. Like how we do those, you would literally just demo out this side. You move your sink over, you put a shower door
Mhm.
on with some corking and some mount, and all of a sudden you got this beautiful little wine room off your kitchen. So it gives it this ambiance feel.
Man, I'm so glad that I brought this up. That's awesome. Yeah, we're closed on this one May 2nd. And I am planning to do, for anybody in South LA, Project Ari walkthrough.
Oh, cool.
Come check it out, and I'll try to bring James's vision here to life, because that's way better than what I came up with.
That's I think it's
Appreciate it.
yeah. Post some pictures of that one. If I'm somehow in town, usually when you hit me out in Newport, I'm in town for like 3 hours being an architect.
Yeah,
I'm flying
yeah.
back out.
No, I get it.
But yeah,
All right.
eventually we'll get rolling.
Well, I appreciate it. I got to roll to pick up the kids.
Dude, cool product. Post pictures of that one. I want to see it.
Yeah. I shared the link of that listing so you can kind of see what it looks like now.
Oh, cool. Put it in the Facebook group. Everyone wants to see this.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, in the original house, it's still got like wood panel, shag floor. Like, yeah, it's gonna be a cool one. I wasn't even gonna do it like at first, but my friend got under contract. She kept hitting me up. She's like, "There's so much meat on this," and an investor. Well, actually, it was just somebody who came to one of my flips, and he kept being like, "Dude, I got money. I got money." I guess he's like, he builds spaceships. I met him once, and then I was like, "Oh, actually, I think I got a guy." And boom, I put the deposit down, and he's like, "Yeah, I got 260 grand. Let's go." And I'm like, "Awesome!" I think I talked to the guy like 3 times.
Hey, that's doing good business works. You guys put on display.
Yeah, for sure. All right, talk to you guys.
Cool.
Yeah.
Eric, and then Eric, real quick question over here says, what would I say for the average cost of labor per square foot for LVP? Typically for LVP install, it's going to be about $2 to $2.50 a foot to install it. You should be around 2, really. At least from my experience. Eric,
Hey, what's up, James?
what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good, buddy. How's everything?
Good. You grind out deals out you're mostly Riverside, not Riverside-ish. You're
I'm North LA County, so
Yep.
I'm borderline like Kern County, San Bernardino, in between.
I was just talking to
yeah.
somebody about San Bernardino. My project manager is actually going there to watch Frozen this weekend,
Oh, nice.
or something like that, with his daughter.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm like right on the borderline of both of those counties. Still considered LA County though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do deals all over. And that's kind of what my question is. Like last time when we spoke, I know about 50% of your deals come from MLS, agents bringing you deals from what I gathered in the training. But I'm honestly looking to dial down my acquisitions team,
Okay.
building like a wholesale business, and then but we're just getting beat up, outbid left and right. Um, even my wholesalers that were bringing me deals previously, I'm getting outbid. They're doing like highest and best. So I really
They're
want to,
doing that whole auction crap where they're just
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I'm really getting outbid. I have like nothing under contract. I just sold my last flip. So I really want to start building my acquisitions team. So like direct to seller. Just kind of curious what I could start putting marketing dollars behind, like what's your best direct to seller lead source?
Yeah.
And also my second question was what's your acquisition team look like?
Okay, so Act Team, we'll start with that first. We have it broken up where we have 5 different dispo brokers, and they do work on market, and anything that we secure off market or contract, they're the ones. I do dispo and acquisition separate teams.
Separate teams, right?
Yeah. And so they're the ones underwriting finally, and the underwriting working with the clients, developing the clients and selling it to them.
Right.
And then we sell every deal. I have a minimum return out of our office, so it's not whatever we can get for it. It has to hit this number, and if it hits that number, we can sell it. And so that way it keeps it very consistent on everything.
Everything.
And I just know clients are getting good deals. And so they handle that, but they also do the on market, like, because they're doing the dispo. They don't always have stuff dispo. They're the ones tracking the on market stuff too, working those.
So the dispo team's working the on the market deals.
Yeah, basically our dispo team are all licensed brokers, so they're working with the clients, and then they work any on market opportunity too. And we treat on market just like we do off. Like, I don't want to bring a client out to a property because I need to move fast. So we secure the deal, we fire out a contract, lock it up, and then transfer it to our client. Because,
Okay.
sometimes my one client's opinion might be that it's not a deal for them, and that's okay. I know it makes money, so I'm contracting that. We'll put the right person on it. And so it allows them to be efficient because they don't have to worry about what client to call to go out to the property. They just secure it, and then it gives them the breathing room to sell it. And so everything's written on market in my name. We secure it and then move it. So did we just lose you, bud? Oh shoot. There he is. Hey, bud, you there? Eric?
Yeah, sorry, I got a call and it took me off.
Oh no,
But
all good. I was like,
yeah.
so they do that, and then our off-market team, we have kind of a variety of how. So we have inbound phone guy who takes any appointment or lead that comes in. Because we have found if you don't get to that lead within 10 minutes of buying that lead, it's gone.
Right.
It's like getting them back on the phone's impossible at that point. And so they're the one, so the inbound person, and we pay him 45,000 a year as a base. And then
Right.
he makes $1,000 per deal that closes for the month that he has set up the appointment for. And typically we can knock out 5 to 10 deals a month. So he's got a pretty good bonus schedule on that, you know?
Love that.
And so, and he's just so he's doing all inbound calls, outbound follow up, and setting the appointments for our off market team.
Setting appointments for the off market team to go on the, walk through or meet with the seller.
Yep. And start negotiating the terms.
Right. So he's just scheduling the appointment and he's salary based with some incentive.
Yeah, he's
Are
basically
you
like
guys
our
doing a
lead.
draw with him or is it just 1K flat?
It depends on where you're living and where we live. We kind of can't do it on draw at 45 grand. And then he's
Right.
averaging.
He's tough.
But typically I like putting salespeople on draws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
And actually,
why.
you know what? I'm wrong. He's at 36 grand a year.
36.
Yeah, just as his base.
And he's handling all inbound. What inbound is working or where you guys
So,
focused on?
but he also handles inbound, but he also has to make calls outbound too. So he hits our hot leads. So
Hot inbound leads.
yeah, so like for example, like the ones that we have coming in. So our lead list that he calls, we have him call through our probates, our foreclosures, like the people that you got to be good on the phone with. You can't have a call center calling like a probate lead. It's not good. Like,
Mhm.
because people just lost somebody. They're like trying to figure out their lives and like, hey, what do you think your house is worth? It's just like, it's not great.
Right.
And so he hits our cream of the crop hot leads, and he hits those on regular. Anything with high symptoms of distress, foreclosures, probates, needs to sell. So he does have to he makes over 100 calls a day on those types of leads as well as he's taking his inbounds. Because
Okay.
he does produce there too. Um, the leads that he works, there's a couple different channels that we do. We do easy button leads for the call centers.
Uh-huh.
And then you tell them you're a Project RE client and you get a discount. I think it's 20% off. Or no, it's
Okay.
10% off. And
You already said 20.
wait, see,
Yeah,
just
I'm
tell them
joking.
20, see what they do. You never
Yeah,
know.
I'll tell Cole.
Yeah.
We've been chopping up in the DM a little bit.
Oh, dude, and Cole's a sharp dude when it comes to this, dude. I call him the boy. When I met him, he was only 21 doing this.
Jeez.
And so Cole's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And so those leads come in, but the thing about those leads is 90% of them aren't that good. You're looking for that 10%. And so what I like to do is I was giving them to internal people on my team, but now I give them to a way better closing broker. And all I try to get out of them is just a referral fee, just to pay for the call center. And what I've noticed is if I give those leads that are cleaner houses, I got no way of buying them, and it's a good broker working them, their conversion rate's a lot higher. And it only takes them like, if they convert one of those a month, it pays for my whole call center. And then I'm getting those 10% leads for free. And so, because the easy button leads does work, and I like using them on like out of state owners, the landlords, the ones that you have to call, and you're really just trying, because the point of call centers is to keep your costs low, but it's to get volume and to catch that person at the right time, right? The landlord that just got the keys back and his property's not looking that good,
Right.
or they got pissed off because a landlord tenant law changed. Or that's what the call centers are really good for, is combing through and hitting that volume and finding that right person at the right time. I can't have people calling out-of-state landlords on volume and be effective. And so we have them hit more of those. I have an inbound guy hit the specialties, and then we do buy leads Like the leads that I have found are good, but they're expensive. Um, is Fast Home Offers. They're expensive, dude, but they're really good leads. They're not shit, and they don't give you a ton of them.
Right.
They'll end up being about $500 a lead.
So it's like PPL.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I have been talking to Brent Daniels about his whole
PPC, yeah.
PPC. And so I'm learning that a little bit better because it wasn't very good for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to refine it. And so I'm going to test it out with him, and he might roll a program out for Project RE to see. I'm trying to get you guys a discount through him because he does know what he's doing.
Right.
But it's kind of your average cost per deal on that's about $8,500. So it's expensive.
Yeah, PPC is expensive.
Yeah, so if you're in a bigger expensive market where you can average 30 to 40 grand a deal, but it's definitely spendy. So, we've been having best luck with the call centers. Oh, and then direct mail is working again too, but isolated and just do a steady drip on one area. That's what's worked best. Instead of going really wide, we're targeting what we convert best with. Like if all your flippers are looking for properties with ADUs, we just straight drip that. And because we're consistently hitting them instead of
Yeah.
wide, that's been working well too. And postcards and mail have been working fairly well.
Like you said, kind of like reverse wholesaling with the direct mail.
Yeah, because then you're getting leads where people will pay the most for them, and that's where your conversion goes up. And so I do like direct mail, but you got to be consistent. That I did not like it 12 months ago, and so it's kind of came back. And that's what happens. You want to track this every quarter, like how much you spending on mail, how many appointments you getting, how many deals have you closed. Because once that number spikes, and it will, you want to shut it down or slow it down because they all go through these waves. But one thing that also really works that doesn't cost a whole lot is door knocking's been working really well for us. And you're hearing a lot of like the online gurus talk about it again now. Like they're door knocking, and those fuckers would shit on me all the time. Excuse my language, guys, but they would like, "Oh, you door knock? Who door knocks?" And I'm like, "It works." Like, and now they're all these little marketing gimmicks aren't working anymore. So like, "Oh, door knocking works." But dude, what I would do, Eric, is get the door knocking. We have our sales guys do it. We pay them a lot more if they're knocking the door, though.
Yeah.
Because it motivates them to bang out doors. So on any deal that they go out and bang on the door and bring the deal in, we just do a straight 50-50 cut with them.
50-50 of the assignment or
Yep, 50-50 all funds collected. And so they get paid more. When we're setting the appointment, they only get paid about 15%. And so
and you're door knocking like those with symptoms of selling, probate, foreclosure.
Yeah, I would say foreclosures you want to hit. Symptoms of selling, just beat up, tired houses. I mean, honestly, those have been kind of the better ones where there's not a whole lot of tax record symptoms, but they're just hammered. And then, we give all of our
dollars type houses.
Yeah, and just anybody out knocking doors, we give them a stack of letters that are not just postcards, like nice letters. And we make them for our door knockers, and they just throw them on any house too that they see that's beat up.
Yeah.
And we surprisingly get a decent amount of deals that way. But the best ones to hit door knocking are going to be your foreclosures. Another list that's working well is you can track the eviction courts right now and hit those landlords up. They want to sell. They're so sick of, especially in California and Washington, it's tough to evict people. They get burnt out.
They get burnt out.
Yeah. That's been all working really well. But probate's definitely probably our hottest bucket right now.
Probate for sure. And you're like guiding them through the probate process and
a lot of them have that already open, but we do have an attorney that can close them with lack of probate, where it's like there's no will, couple people they want to get rid of the house. And so we have that service to where we can refer them over and we pay for all that cost to our offer. We say, hey, we're going to pay all your probate costs and everything because we know it's going to cost us about $3,000 to $4,000. And so we just buy it $5,000 cheaper, basically, on the offer.
So you'll get them on the seller on the future seller on a purchase agreement.
Yep. Yeah, because it depends. If there needs to be probate work done,
Okay.
and they haven't done anything, then we'll give them to our attorney, who's also an escrow, and she does handle it. It's not like she really does treat them like separate clients. She starts setting up the lack of probate, handling the title and all that stuff. And because we're giving it to them on a white glove service, it makes it easy. They don't really go anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
But
we're seeing a lot
foreclosures
of-
are coming back right now, dude. There's
Yeah,
more and more creeping. That's for sure.
I agree. Yeah, that deal I hit you on Instagram, they locked it up off of foreclosure.
Yeah. It's, there we go. Yeah, the foreclosures are. I've seen some good deals on that. I mean, shit, dude. I just paid a guy $250,000 assignment fee on a deal, and you know how he got it?
Foreclosure.
Nope.
Or not.
He was out looking for foreclosures, and he randomly called me, and he's like, "Dude, what's up with this neighborhood in here?" He's like, "This is a really nice neighborhood." I'm like, "Oh, that's Enos Art. It's a great neighborhood." He's like, "Man, there's some like kind of old beat up houses here." I'm like, "Yeah, you should go knock on all the doors." He went out knocking the door. It was just a person. He left a flyer. They called him. They're like, "Yeah, we've been renovating this house for 12 years. It's time to sell it." And he threw him out a number of 2 million, and I bought it for 220. Like, it's
Wow.
dude, that was the most. This guy buys leads. He does everything. The most amount of money he ever made on a deal was that. And it's just so you never know, but it's about training your sales team to look for every opportunity, right? And be prepared and leave it. Like, and honestly, if he didn't call me just randomly, he wouldn't even knock that neighborhood. And I was like, no, hit it, dude. It's in high demand. And the cool thing is I can pay almost retail for the fixers. And he's like, oh, cool. And so like those are markets in where you are, there's not as much like the more expensive, like Newport Beach. I could drive around and find a 3,000 square foot house that's beat up and old.
Mhm.
And I can basically pay a market because anything that sells on market is land value typically, and a builder's buying it.
Yeah.
And so I can go to them and offer with no commissions and offer them 2.7, and that deal's going to work all day long. And the seller's thrilled because they're getting full market for the as is
Right.
condition. So like that's the good thing about some of the expensive zones is the spread. The fixers are such big deltas, and there's less competition on them. But I mean, I like your market, especially with the economy we're going into right now. I think that's a good market to be in, like that San Bernardino, a little bit more affordable stuff.
Mhm.
But hit that, and then it's all about training the team underneath you, where you're just coaching them and helping them get deals, and you give them a high split, but you're not spending any marketing dollars on it.
Okay.
And so give them those lead lists, and those lead lists should be foreclosures, probates, evictions, out of state owners, tax foreclosures, that kind of stuff. And then also we like pulling the list from the city if anybody's got abatement liens where the city's finding them for trash.
Mhm.
Those are other good ones to hit.
Okay. So pull all those lists and then basically like how much you think budget wise should I allocate for say cold callers and then PPL?
Well, I would say cold callers, your minimum going to be $1,500 a month minimum.
Mhm.
Usually you're going to be around $3,000. It typically is what I found. And that's going to get me about 70 to 80 leads typically.
Mhm.
And so my usual cost per lead for call centers is about $60 right now. And honestly, Seattle's tough on the call centers right now. It's not the greatest.
Yeah.
It's a tough, I think your sub markets you're in will do a lot better, to be honest. The expensive markets don't do as well. And then your cost per piece of mail, you're probably gonna be spending about $1 per mail, but the postcards are about 50 cents less. So what I like to do is on good leads is we send out 2 letters in the beginning, and then we put them on a drip of postcards, and we do 8 postcards over the next 5 months because they're a lot cheaper.
Mhm.
But that's for like our cream of the crop, like foreclosure, high equity, or a probate that, and we're sending it to everybody. Like the really, really good ones that have a high need to sell. I don't like to spend a whole lot of money on leads that are not high symptoms of distress because it costs so much to mail.
It costs so much. And like fast home offers about 400 bucks a lead.
400, and I think market's about 250 right now. On because I talked to those motivated seller guys just because they were like spamming the crap out of me just to figure out what it was, and they were okay. They seemed
Mhm.
fine, but I think their cost of lead was about 150 bucks a lead. But honestly, it seemed like they were going to be a lot more like the call center leads to me. So I'm like, well, why wouldn't I just pay the call center 60 bucks? And then I'd rather go spend fast home offers, pay them 500 because we convert at like 60% on those ones. So it's worth the 500 bucks.
Right, right.
So, and then I think our
Yeah.
average assignment fee on those ones is like 34,000. So it works.
Man, we might as well just dump all the money into that one.
You know, but that's the good thing is they'll only sell you so much because they only have so many good ones. They're really scrubbed.
Okay, fast homes offers, almost like a lead Zolo.
Yep.
Okay. Have you seen like the new AI coming out?
Dude, I have. I'm trying to learn this a little bit. I'm not the best tech
It's
guy, so
gonna
I'm
be
definitely
crazy.
knee deep into it right now.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy right now, and they're looking to bring on like over 500 leads, but basically they're calling like symptoms of selling, and it's just AI. They'd be able to dial like 1,000 people at once, like in a minute. It's crazy.
It's yeah, and then the AI is handling the objections and pushing it over.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll see how that works.
yeah, we'll see.
It's
It's a little further out still, but they're getting.
yeah, it's and then also the regulation that goes behind it because once that starts clicking on everything, they're gonna step in
Yeah,
and just.
right.
But I mean, I've definitely been trying to figure out different ways to get AI. I've been learning it for the off market stuff that I'm hoping will push out AI stuff to find contractors and different like just but more CRM databasing than actually getting the
Mm,
deal.
yeah,
I
me.
don't believe in a robot closing a deal. I think it needs to
No,
go to a body, get to know the people, and close. But
right. Kind of like a VA.
yeah, just they just need to fluff it and get it over to you. And
Right.
really, it's about just calling and catching the person at the right time. That's really what cold calling's about.
Cold calling. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you, James. Appreciate your time, man.
for sure. Um, Purdy, how are you?
Hey James, I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm doing okay.
Oh, how'd your offer go? You wrote an offer last week.
Yeah, that didn't work out. They already had multiple offers, so they
So,
just.
what do you know what it sold for?
I asked the agent. He said, uh, actually, they already took an offer before we even made an offer. That's the
Oh, it was a
issue.
pot. Oh, so but that's a good broker for you to get to know, Purdy. They sold it before they took it to market, right?
No, it actually was on. I saw it actually 2 days after because I was out on in the weekend, so I didn't see it in the weekend. And then by the time we were ready to make that offer, they already got an offer that they
So,
accepted.
but the broker told you that they had accepted an offer before they were even live.
No, they took an offer after 2 days of
Okay,
being
after
out.
today. Okay, sorry, I heard that wrong. Okay, well, that's okay. Watch what it sells for, and then we can sharpen our numbers a little bit there.
Yeah, actually, I just saw another deal because I'm like, I always get late on these. So this just came up today. That's why I wanted to run it by you so I can
Speed.
actually
It's
make
all
an
about
offer
speed, making
quickly.
decisions quickly. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, can I run it by you
Yeah. Do
quickly?
you want to share it?
Yep. So, this one seems like it'll be like a quick thing because it actually seems like a cosmetic one. Uh, just a second. You can see my screen, right?
Yep, we got it right here.
Okay. Yeah, so
So it's a
this is
4-bed, 2-bath, 1,800 square feet.
Yeah, it's 1800 as in like 936 upstairs and 936 basement. So it's like half and half. But there's the best part about this is there's almost an identical house that recently sold for 560. The only issue with that is that had a two-car garage that was detached, and this one doesn't have it. So that's the
Okay,
property.
got it right there. Oh, that's a
Yeah,
nice looking reno.
yeah, it's almost like it's across the street basically, like almost there. 3778 and 3781.
Okay, is there any comps with no garages at all?
I'm not seeing any. Actually, the other issue I'm seeing is this is the only like properly renovated house that's sold in this range.
Okay.
The rest of them are all like, yeah, you can see it's like 499, 470.
And do
Uh,
they have garages too?
yeah.
Okay. And then what about that one that sold for 470? Does that have they all have garages?
Yeah, I think so. This 471 definitely, I think, had a garage.
But it is smaller, so it's a good reference point
Okay.
because that one's only 1,100 square feet.
Yes, it is smaller.
And then what is going on with the garage on this? Let's look. Yeah, standard flips, still good. Okay, so
Oh, there you go. They do
okay,
have a
two-car
detached
garage.
garage. Yeah.
Go back to your house real quick again too. So sometimes when I look at guys, I'm like, all right, 1,100 square feet. Is there anywhere? Is there a back picture of this house?
Oh, yeah. It, yeah, I mean, I checked it. It doesn't have a garage because they mentioned it in there that there's a
Okay.
three-car space and you can put a carport, but there is no actual garage. The backyard picture is there somewhere.
Yeah, I just was wondering if there was a converted garage at any point sometimes. Like,
Uh,
because if you look at this room right here,
yeah, that's just the basement, I
oh,
think.
that's the basement. Okay, that's why it's
Yeah.
big. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the backyard picture. There
Okay.
is no
Got it.
garage on this one.
So now what we have to do is there's a blend because the good thing is that one at 470 actually sold for pretty big money for considering how big it was. Because you have a 531 that was 1,800 square feet, and then you have a 470 that was quite a bit smaller. Let's go back to the comps. Because now what we need to do is we got to figure out how to narrow down. You have a defect on the property, which is no garage, which I'm guessing in Colorado is not good with the amount of snow it gets.
Yep.
And so we have to find out what's that delta on the pricing for a garage or not. It's so let's scroll down. Is there a way, can you go home to, or filters and do no garage or carport parking? Parking spots, go. Okay, so I want you to click this must have a garage thing. Let's see what still is remaining or disappears. Okay, so click it again. Okay, so we got one at 435. Let's go look at that one real quick.
Oh, this one.
It's a little bit further away, but I just want to check to see. Okay, so that's sold for 435, smaller.
Yeah.
I mean, that I like this comp, right? It's half the square footage. It's got no garage. Is that a pretty similar area, it looks like?
I think so. The issue sometimes with houses here is some people put the square footage with the basement, some people don't put it with the basement. So it could be that it's the same size house, but since it's sold for 435, I'm assuming at least the basement is not finished, even if
Or
there
the garage is a big deal. So let's go up to those photos real quick.
Yeah.
And let's go to the back and see what's at the very end. It's only a 2-1. And then go one more. It doesn't look like it has a basement. It doesn't
Yeah.
list it on the as-built.
Yep. Doesn't look like it because usually they will put the basement also here.
Okay. And then when you do your renovation, you're going to be a 4-bed, 2-bath, not, and it's got a little
Yeah.
carport. I mean, this almost looks like a little bit worse area, to be honest, in the back.
Yeah,
And so I like
definitely.
this comp. So now what we have to do is kind of blend, right? Because we know we're not worth 530 because that's with a garage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And typically I would think a garage is going to be worth, depending on the market, it can be, 10 to 20%, depending on where it is. And sometimes it's very little too, like in Seattle or in certain parts of Seattle, no garages are not that common in certain areas. And so, and then you have a 486, a 3.1. Then we have a 4.2, 1,300 square feet at 533. I'm actually surprised that one with a garage sold so low at 560 compared to what I'm seeing elsewhere.
Those might be like different area completely. It's like a different zip code, different area. Actually, it was showing a lot more houses. I think this general area is one zip code, and what you were seeing on the right side was like a different zip code altogether.
Okay. Scroll back down so I can look at the data a little bit more. So we got a 5, just through the picture. Yeah, so then that was a 4.2, 18. So that's our cap, 560. We're not there. And keep scrolling down, and we have a 470 that's 600 square feet smaller, one less bath. So I definitely would feel like we're going to be in that kind of 499 range at minimum right now. That would be like my baseline. Now, we don't want to undervalue it for the garage because right now it'd be the same as that house at 60,000. Typically, I would think a garage is 5 to 10%, which is going to be 25 to 50 grand on this house. An appraiser counts it as 10,000 per bay, which is incorrect, but that's typically how an appraiser does it. So keep scrolling down though. I just want to look at some more because Purdy, what we really should be doing is we could find even similar areas. And we want to find out what the delta is between a no garage and a garage, right? Like even if I'm in an area that's north of
Okay.
this, that's just a mile or two north, and I find a comp with a garage renovated and one without, that's going to show me that delta to give me kind of a percentage range.
Okay.
And so that's because we got to figure out what that's worth. I can tell you in parts of Seattle, a 1-car garage can be worth 100 grand because of how much crime's there.
Oh, wow.
And so it can be a big difference. Now, what I'm seeing in the comps, I do like though. We have that one at 470 that's smaller, no garage, that's sold, or 440, but way smaller. And then these houses are all smaller, but so right now it doesn't even matter really to look at these because they're smaller. They sold for 533, but they still have that garage factor. So we need to figure out what that delta is. Now, I would think.
Yeah, this one seems like it doesn't have a garage because it went away and
And
I
on,
took it.
oh yeah, maybe if it doesn't, that's what we're looking for.
Yep.
Oh, it didn't go garage? Oh,
Yeah,
click
I
on that one
don't
again then.
think it has garage.
There's our comp.
Yep, it is a 4.2.
Now, technically, you would think yours would be worth more because it's bigger, but that one at 560 is holding me back. So I would put the value at the 530.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm looking at this guy's reno, and I don't think it's that great. Like you can see all the paint issues on it. See how bad that paint job is?
Yep.
Good colors, bad quality.
It looks nice inside though.
No, yeah, the design's great. There's not a very good painter on the outside. Yeah, no, I think that's your comp. So you pretty always trying to find the same amenities, right? And I would rather go out a little bit further
Mhm.
because you just never know what that garage factor is going to do.
Okay.
And in certain areas it matters, in some it doesn't. But right here, I would feel pretty comfortable putting 530 on it. I wouldn't want to go
Okay.
higher, but the square footage because you have that other comp at
So about
560.
30,000 difference on there.
Yeah. Which, yeah, that's about right. 5% roughly compared to the other comp that sold. I don't know why the other one sold for 560 though. It was bigger, had a garage, and it It only sold for 28,000 more than that one. I wonder if there's something wrong with it.
Sorry, I lost you in between, I think.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying it's kind of weird that the one that was 500 square feet bigger with a garage only sold for 560.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean it's like it's also a different county completely.
oh, okay, got it. So that might just be worth less down there.
Yeah, because this comes in like Arapahoe County and that goes to Denver.
I mean,
That is
so
Denver County.
knowing that, if
Mhm.
that's just worth less down there, and sorry, I don't know this area as well, but it's this comp at 533 right here
Mhm.
is 1,300 square feet.
Yep.
I would feel pretty good at going to 540, 550 on your value
Yeah.
based on that you're 400 square feet bigger.
Okay.
Because then your price per square foot's still low because you don't want to undervalue it and miss the deal too. So if I was looking at this, I would probably adjust up to like 549 because you're just 400 square feet bigger. You're 30% bigger than this house.
Yep. Okay. That actually sounds really good.
And don't worry about that if it's worth less. Let's stick to where we're by. Because you said we're up in Southwest, right? Not Sheridan.
Yeah, that
Okay.
it's right here actually on that same street where this house
Oh,
is.
it's close to the 560 one instead.
Yeah, it's literally like right next to it because this
Oh, I go 530 on it then. Go 530. Sorry, I mixed up what you said. I thought you were saying ours was different. No, I wouldn't go to 550 based on the no garage. I go 530 because we had that comp with no garage, but I
Mhm.
would stick to you definitely want to be worth less than this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Run numbers with that then. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like kind of a like a hoarder house type of deal.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But the good thing is you got your bedrooms and baths you already need.
Mhm.
You know, it doesn't look like it's in that bad a shape. It just looks dirty, which is great, right? You trash it out. The kitchen's probably the right size, it looks like. The spaces are good, and so that's where all the costs are.
Yeah, the kitchen actually looks bigger than this house actually. This is the kitchen on this one.
Yeah.
And
It's yeah, you definitely got more space in yours.
yep.
Yeah, you could put a little island in the middle if you wanted to. No, I think you're looking. I'd go with 530 on it.
Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, it like almost the same floor plan as this one. So like basically like almost identical houses. So just have to
Yeah,
and
you
make
just
it
got to
like
adjust for the lack of amenities, right?
yeah, just
You
have
know,
to adjust for the garage and basically make it look the same. So
yeah,
same
same
cosmetic.
finish work. You want to get you same everything needs to be touched, same type of finish work through, and then the biggest thing, because that's like you can look at that and go, the contractor charged me this, but we got to make sure that we hit that garage right. That's going to be a
Mhm.
factor for sure.
Okay. Yep. I will look at this and see if it works out.
Yeah, no, a good little find. But
Yeah.
yeah, speed. So you got to get on it right away.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. I'll try to figure out if I can see it tomorrow morning with a contractor and then make an offer immediately.
Do you call the listing broker directly?
I tried, he's not picking up the phone.
Okay. Yeah, try to go direct. If the some broker's not adding value, sending you comp, sending you that listing, try to go to the listing broker direct. Because if you're doing all the work anyways,
Mhm.
you have a higher probability if that guy's getting paid more money.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but yeah, I can't reach him at all. I tried like 3 times.
You text him.
No, I haven't
I
texted.
would text him and say you're a cash investor and you're very serious about buying this property.
Mhm.
You're unrepresented and you would love to have him tour you through the property and submit an offer.
Okay.
make sure you put in that you're unrepresented, because then he'll be like, "Oh, more money on the table."
Yep.
Yep,
Okay. Yep. Thank you so much.
for sure. All right, we got Pat and then Donnie, but I think Donnie was first and he lost connection. So Donnie and then Pat. Oh,
Hello, James
what's up, buddy? How are
from
you?
Beijing today.
That's good.
Uh,
That's on my bucket list to go. How is it?
oh, I don't know. I got in last night. I was in Seoul before this, and then we go to Shanghai and then Singapore. So
Oh, that's a good
we'll
trip.
see. um, how are you? Sorry. How are you? What's going
I'm
on?
good, man. I've been on pushing myself to the max, like always.
I love to hear it. Right on. So I just found a property that I put an offer in on. It's zoned for multifamily, but it's currently a single family home.
Okay.
And it needs like a bunch of work anyway.
What
but
location?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. LA County.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I normally I wouldn't be buying for rentals in in LA, but I am looking at just house hacking this.
Okay.
And so I was looking at doing the full conversion. I think I can build up to 6 units on it. And it's actually got like this massive garage. It's like that was definitely built to be more than a garage. And so
Donnie.
like the comps pull it out to once we actually put the units on it and everything. North of 2.5 million. And so there's a lot. It seems like there's a lot of upside. Anyway, so if nothing else, renting out a couple of units, reduce my mortgage, that'd be great.
Okay,
But
sorry,
I've
missed
obviously
you froze up for a second. So it's a single
okay.
family house.
Yep.
On what size lot is it?
It's a pretty small lot. I think it's 4,000 square feet. So it's pretty small. Normally it wouldn't be, but we checked, and I think we could build up to 6 units on it. We're allowed to build up to 6 units on it.
Okay. And
Pending if we could actually do it is a different story, but
per zoning, right? Or whether it's cost effective and all those things.
whether it's cost effective or like it makes sense. But yeah, zoning is allowing us up to 6.
Okay, and then where does the house? So when I'm looking at a deal like that,
Yeah.
Hertz great, but
Yeah.
a lot of times it works really well, especially if you're doing a rental, depending on where the house location is, right? Can you build in the back a bit rather than tear the house down?
Yeah.
It might not be worth quite that on dirt, because multifamily right now, is it multifamily for zoning? Is it for like townhomes, ADUs, or like a 8-unit building?
I do definitively know like a 6 unit building would be allowed on it. I don't have an answer on townhomes, condos, or anything like that.
So I would dig into that a little bit, find out because the cost to build a 6-unit building, no one's building those right now because it's way too expensive to build them.
Yeah.
But where you can do really well on these is, let's say they're like, hey, it's multifamily, you could build a duplex unit in the back.
Yeah.
And then what's happening in LA, just like in Seattle, is they want more affordable housing. And so what's happening is you're going to be able to start condoing things off down there very soon, like ADUs.
Yeah.
Then if you build a duplex, you could condo them and sell them separate as townhomes.
Yeah.
Side by side. So
Okay.
let's figure out what I would say the straight over tackle 6-unit.
Mhm.
Unless you can buy that and have it break even, I wouldn't mess with it.
Yeah, I mean, with the 6 unit, we could eliminate a mortgage, which would be nice.
Oh, to build it?
Yeah. So I mean, that would probably that is an option. And so I think what I was curious about, I mean, I did think about like what if we actually section it off and sell stuff off, and then I was like, but zero mortgage sounds pretty good. But what I don't have experience with is I've never built I've never built a 6-unit building or anything like that. And so I was hoping to just get an idea of like what are the pitfalls, what are the things I should look out for, in comparison to single family renovation. Obviously, this is a very different ballgame.
Yeah. I would say as you transition, it's best if you can find a deal. I don't think those are bad things to buy, But
Yeah.
I can tell you to build a 6-unit building in the West Coast is a pain in the ass, and the permits take forever, and the costs are expensive, and they put a lot of roadblocks in there. And so a lot
Yeah.
of times it doesn't make sense to build the smaller buildings,
Mhm.
just from my experience. Now, I don't know, but so what I would be more concerned with is how does the deal pencil today? Can you break it even? How much cash do you have to leave in it until it gets to that next wave?
Yeah.
But the most thing I would want to do into is like, where's the house position on the lot and what else can we do? If it's dead in the center, not a whole lot of value there. But if it's pushed to the front and you have an alley in the back, that piece of land could be worth a lot of money, especially when the condos go through.
Yeah. Right now, there's like, I don't know how to describe this. It's almost like a 2-story garage that is fully permitted that butts up to an alley as well right now. That could be
Okay.
fully like that could be fully renovated into its own property or its own unit like pretty immediately. I mean, obviously there's still things that we'd have to go through, but it's that one is like set up to be that already. I don't know how or why it wasn't, but
Well, and the zoning would allow for that too, to have an extra
yeah,
unit there. And that might be where the good deal. I would say the dirt value for a 6-unit, that might be hard.
right.
It isn't cost effective, but if we can do something else with that zoning, so let's figure out what else you can do with that. Like, can that garage, can you get an apartment on top and then keep as a rental and then condo that off later, sell it 10, because I like those kind of deals
Yeah.
because the cash flow is not huge, but they make equity and then you 1031 it out and go buy the 6-unit with no cash out of pocket.
Oh, that's pretty nice. I didn't even
And
think about
so
that.
instead of building it, you can build these little equity earners or call them like call them portfolio starters.
Yeah.
And so like if we can cut that off and you can make a couple $100,000 equity, then you can 1031 it. You can go buy the 6-unit with no money out of your own pocket with the proceeds, and then all of a sudden you
Yeah.
get what you want. And so let's dig into what else you can do on that zoning.
Yeah, that's a good call. I didn't even think about that. I like that a lot. With how hard is it to, I mean, I guess I haven't done this either, but I'm curious, like, what are the complications with just like adding a unit on top of the existing single family, or is it just like don't do that? There's no point. It's like tear it down and go the route of of just like building a new building there. Like if I wanted
What
to
would you want to think about there?
like if I wanted to effectively add like a second story to the existing primary and just like make it its own unit upstairs with its own like separate entry.
Yep.
I don't know. Like I've never done something like that, so I guess I'm wondering like, is that ever? I mean, you always have to run your numbers, but is that ever a cost effective way
It's
to look at
usually not
something
very
like?
cost effective with how much the construction costs and the permitting
Yeah,
time takes.
yeah,
That's what I found in Seattle. We don't typically build the units; we renovate, and if you can keep them inside the walls,
hmm,
like we renovate a lot of multifamily, we maximize it that way. But once you go out, the costs go soaring because then you have to update that code all the way through, and it's
yeah,
like for me, I'm always like, well, I can go buy a single family, make a burr, and 1031 them, and not have to do any of that crap.
yeah,
And then you're buying what you're supposed to have. Because the problem is you buy it, you vacate it, then you got to work on it for 12 to 18 months getting into it, where you got all this dead time.
yeah,
And by the time you service that debt and leave that in, you could just go buy a fixer duplex and renovate it and probably be in a better spot, and it's way faster.
yeah,
And so if you're absolutely stealing it for cheap, then
yeah,
maybe, but most of the time I have found it doesn't work. The biggest factor on that will be permitting timelines, and you want to figure out how long that's going to take in LA County. Because in Seattle,
yeah,
that's a year.
yeah. No,
It's
it's probably about that for us.
so then you got this year project, then you got to vacate it. And so, I would say it's a good piece of property to buy if you can leave very little money in, break even on it now, then there's long-term potential later.
Yeah,
If you can do something else with the backyard, cut it up, probably good. But just straight dirt, if you have to pay for it every month for the
yeah.
6-unit, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, well, the other thing I was thinking about is like because the back unit is already set up to be its own independent space, is like live in the front unit, renovate the back unit, then go live in the back unit while we build out the front units, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Maybe triage our mortgage payment and everything, but Okay, I have a lot more number running to do. You know, either way, we love the neighborhood, so we might end up going with it. So we'll see.
Yeah, but you know what? It's good neighborhood, and but explore it. Figure out how we can, because it's not always about what people like. A lot of anybody looking at that to build a sixplex, like maybe that doesn't work, but how can we cut it up a different way?
Yeah, totally.
That's where, I just bought a deal and no one really liked it. It was too small for builders, didn't work as a rental, all these things. But I'm like, well, if I actually carve off the lot, not build it, sell the dirt off, keep this, it work. And so let's just find out what we can do with it. And then
Yeah,
how do we cut it up to make it work? And
yeah.
if it, three options doesn't work, it don't work, Move on. But I would do, if you want to just run it as a straight sixplex, run your purchase price. Your build costs on that's going to be probably at least $350, $400 a foot there. I would guess. Then you got your development time, and then run your cap rate on your total cost in. But I think you're going to have to leave a lot of cash in that deal is the problem. Oop. Mine just froze. Oop, you there? Oop. All right, Pat.
Hey man, how's it going?
Good. How you doing, dude?
Good. So I got a GC question for you. Um, so we just put in, so we're working on that Gig Harbor house, and we just put in Donnie's back. You want to finish up with him?
Oh,
Sorry, I caught the end of that of the 300, 400 square.
oh, yeah. So just run your numbers at your purchase price.
Yep.
And then 400 a square.
Yep.
And then run what your total basis is. And I would factor to get 85% out. You're not going to get all your money out on that deal typically. Then what's your mortgage payment, what's your rents, and see if it's really worth it, right? Like, what's the cap rate? And if the cap rate's not above 10, you can go buy something better than that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, James. And also thanks for allowing me to jump back in. The Great Firewall of China has been a little bit interrupting over here. So thank you.
No. Hey, all good. Enjoy your time there.
I appreciate it.
What's up, Pat? Are you at your jobs? Pat, are you frozen now? Uh-oh. Hey, Pat, you there?
For
Pat,
the
if it
record,
makes
I
it-
can.
I can hear you, Pat.
Okay.
There you go. Gotcha.
You got me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I was wondering, like, so how much leniency do you have with your GCs? So I'm working on this Gig Harbor house, and we have a contract, and in the contract, we were going to put in, I think, 6 new mini splits and like 2 heat pumps, right?
Yep.
All that got done today, and the HVAC guy's there today, and so I showed up to the property just to kind of make sure like everything's all good to go. And I found out like that my GC and the HVAC guy didn't pull permits. And in my contract, I have that they're responsible for pulling all permits. And the HVAC guy was like, "Oh, well, the GC told me that we're not pulling permits for this." And so the HVAC guy's like, "Hey, we can still pull permits, but it's going to cost, money for me to go file, and then, whatever I charge to pull the permits, I got to come back, trip time to like make sure the rough in's good, and then, and the final and everything." So is that something, it's in the contract that I have with my GC that says like, "Hey, you guys are responsible for pulling permits." Should I cover that out of my pocket, or is that something that I should work with him on, or what should I do in that situation?
He should be covering that according to the contract. My biggest concern would be, okay, so pulling permits, what other permits was he supposed to pull? A building permit though?
Yeah.
Because if he didn't and you're working through and all of a sudden they pull this permit, there's no building permit, they could shut you down.
Yeah. Well,
And
we
so,
pulled electrical permits
okay.
and we've already passed rough-in.
Yeah, because I guess that wasn't like a lot of stuff moving in that house. It was just updating, right?
It's just updating. Yeah. I mean, we did do some stuff, we added like some exterior doors and stuff, but
That's not
the
a big
house,
deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal. So we're not throwing any beams in or anything like that. So hopefully we shouldn't get flagged, but
No, you should be okay. Yeah, then that should be good. Because is it Tacoma? No, it's not Tacoma Power down there. Is that who did
it's Pierce.
Okay, Pierce, unincorporated King County
Mhm.
or Pierce County? Okay, they won't notice.
Yeah.
Don't get on the radar, but they're very understaffed, just like King County.
Okay.
And they're very slow. So just keep moving forward on that one.
Yeah, we are. Okay.
I would just talk to the contractor and be like, hey, dude, look, we were supposed to get a permit for this. Do you know why I didn't? I mean, you're supposed to be covering that. I want to make sure I'm covered. Everyone's covered on this deal. What do we need to get this resolved? Because you don't even know what the HVAC guy charged, right? So like he's got to charge for that, but I'm guessing your contractor must have made money on them.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's making some money on it.
So yeah, it's got to come from his side, right? That's his job, is to negotiate the terms. How's the general been otherwise? Have you used him before?
I've not. New general. Yeah. Because I've general contracted all my properties before.
Can I ask who it is? You don't have to say either. I
It's
just know most names.
his name's Kevin. He's a pretty small guy.
Okay.
It's kind of a newer business. And honestly, he's been really good so far. He's been super scrappy. They're
That's cool.
working super hard, like they're actually doing like kind of better than I thought. It's
I mean, those are some of the best guys. The guys getting going, and they got something to
Yeah.
prove.
I know. I'm worried on the next bid.
Yeah, it's when he starts taking on more work.
Yeah.
But it's because that's where they have to manage the business and the expenses a little better. That's
Right.
usually where they get in trouble. But and maybe not. So he might be great. But yeah, I would just talk to him, especially if it's a new scrappy. You'd be like, hey, dude, we were supposed to permit this according to the contract and everything. What do we need to do to get this resolved?
Okay.
Just kind of have an open conversation, especially if he's doing a good job because you got a big project you want to keep moving forward, and you also have a timeline or where you want to hit this summer, right?
Yeah.
And so according to your contract, it's on him.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And so, yeah, and I was just saying, so hey, how come we didn't pull a permit? Like, and you can let him know, but I get we're doing, we need to do what we need to do, but and he might be like, I never fucking permit these. I don't know, because a lot of guys don't.
Yeah, I think it was because he's trying to save me money. Like he's just trying to get the costs as low as possible for kind of everything. And so
Oh, is he doing cost plus?
he is like whatever the HVAC guy charges and then he adds on top, or what do you mean?
Yes. So like, did he bid the HVAC and then this guy did the work, or is it like he lined it up, cost, and then you're paying him 10% above?
No, yeah. So he brought the HVAC guy in for a proper bid on everything, and then that's how he came to his number plus whatever he's baking in.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
because
so
I think he's having some of his electricians, do some of the work, so he's managing all that. So yeah, he's just adding in whatever he wants to make on it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, make his
Yeah,
money.
totally.
Yeah, and I would just say, hey, dude, we were really supposed to get a permit on this. This is why I'm worried. I'm cool that we're kind of doing some other things not this way, but how do we get this resolved? And I wouldn't even bring up the money part because, as far as you know, you hired him and that covered a permit, right? So like, don't even open that door. And just say, hey, I want to get this permitted, because he might be like, you know what, I'll go get the permit, have it signed off on, so he doesn't have to pay this guy to do it too. But just see what his solution is, and don't bring up the payment stuff, because it's not, you didn't make the contract with the guy, you made it with him, and he gave you a bid to do this work for this price.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I talked to the HVAC guy today because I like being there when, things are being finalized to make sure it is like up to our standard and stuff. And so, yeah, I know there's more fees, because I don't think a general is able to pull mechanical permits. I think you have to be specialized in order to do that.
Yeah. Yes, you're going to need a mechanical permit sometimes. But you
Yeah.
know, you never know.
Even
These
though
guys
there's no
some
ducting.
but the guy might call the HVAC guy and be like, I'll go do all the work and I pull it in your name. You just
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
just
Totally.
bring it up and then we'll see what he says. But I mean, at the deep down, you want this permitted, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
So just tell him like, hey man, we really got to get this permitted. And if he tries to hit you for a number, be like, well, this was kind of in the price. Like,
Right.
I wish you would have just gave me the quote with the permit in there.
Hmm.
And if he's like, dude, I didn't get it, the bid out, like sometimes I'll be like, all right, dude, that's fine. But hey, if I'm gonna pay you extra for this, can you do all these things, like some labor stuff type, just try to
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was gonna because I was gonna get some like modular closet systems, and I was like, can you guys maybe put these together for me or something? Like,
yeah, it's
I don't know.
or I'm gonna buy some custom racking, yeah, just
Yeah.
if you like him, work. I'm stern my contractors when they're really screwed, but I try not to hammer them.
Yeah. Okay.
I like because these are valuable resources for us when you find good ones. You just have to manage them the right way. Like I just had a contractor and I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like he put the wrong window style in. And I'm like, that's not supposed to be the window style. And he's like, oh shit. And we're looking at this, and it was a dining room that literally had maybe 10 windows in it, dude, like a bunch of, and I'm like, I can make him rip this out, but it's gonna cost him so much money and so much. And I was like, you know what, dude, you owe me one. And so I'm not thrilled with the windows, but it's fine. I don't think it's gonna affect the sale. So
Right.
bank it. But yeah, just let him know. I mean, and don't worry about it because that's kind of his relationship anyways with the HVAC guy.
Yeah, for sure. I was just kind of curious on like your general, I guess, kind of philosophy on how lenient you are, and because I'm kind of like, well, hey man, it's in writing. If we were to like add something and it's not in writing, like I'm paying for it, and so it's 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 a two-way
For sure
street.
you would be. There would be a change. Yeah, but they don't think that way, unfortunately, a lot of times. Or like, I was talking to a contractor the other day, and I'm like, he was like complaining about some specs. He's like, well, I got to charge you more. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so I go talk to my design team. I'm like, you guys, why did we pick this? And they're like, oh, sorry, we missed it. I'm like, well, this is $500. And, $500 adds up over time. And so I try to keep it disciplined. But then I was going through the photos and I'm like, wait a second. I look back at the front door. I'm like, oh, so I call a contractor up. I'm like, okay, so you're going to nickel and dime me for $500 on this stuff? He's like, dude, I'm sorry. I got to do it. I'm tight on this. I'm like, okay. Well, I had spec'd out a $1,200 front door. The designer team gave you this door, which is only $500. So you owe me $200 now. And he's like, shit. I go, don't nickel and dime me, bro, for hooking you up in other spots. And so at the end, it was supposed to be a $500 change order that turned into him owing me $200.
Oh, that's funny.
And so and he just laughed. He's like, you always do this. I was like, well, don't nickel and dime me unless we can do the same thing. So, oh. Just froze for a second.
Crap.
Nope, you're there. Oh, sorry, you froze up for a second.
Okay, can you hear it?
Yep, I got you.
Okay, so there's this old room that basically faces the water out on this patio, and I don't really know what to do with it. We're pouring some new like concrete walls to just like kind of finish it off a little bit. But I was thinking about putting a sauna and maybe a cold plunge, as like we were talking about earlier today. Do you ever do that kind of stuff? Is it worth it, or is that kind of potentially just like a waste of money? Like, are those selling points?
For like cold plunges and those things?
Yeah, and like putting a sauna in like a nice little like health area.
I think it's a cool thing. Sometimes that's kind of more of a gut call sometimes where you're and what I'll typically do is go, okay, well, this property had this cool fire pit or this kind of amenity. I'm going to trade off an amenity for an amenity, right? Like, we did that in our Bridal Trails house. I was like, yeah, we just were a little boring. These other properties had a sport court or they had something. We didn't have those things. And so I ended up putting in a putt green on it because it was the most cost effective. Cool. And literally I sold the house like 2 days later. I was like, oh, wow, that worked, I guess. It was like, I don't like to just throw things at it without knowing. But, if I see the market cooling down a little bit, I'll be like, all right, things are taking a little bit longer. I'll throw in some extra things to just push, try to get it done quicker. I did that exact thing in Bridal Trails. I was
Okay.
like, it wasn't moving. I felt like it needed something. So we put in a really cool barbecue area, a putt green, and a new paver area, and it did help dramatically.
Okay. Yeah.
But
All
one
right.
thing is you have the best amenity. You got the water.
I know.
So it's the saunas and stuff can get expensive. I would just create some cool hangout memory spaces, like some fire pits. Those are cheap to make.
Okay.
And you could, make more ambiance. And then watch the market, get it bid out. And if you want to throw it in last minute, I just wouldn't pull the trigger on it. I would have it all ready to go until you're like, all right, I think I need this.
Okay. That's fine. I can do that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking. But, it's some of these things, you got to move quick. But, yeah. All right. Cool, man. That
I'm
sounds
trying
good.
to think of like what I did in Newport. I definitely threw some extra money at it because the market was cooling right there too. But I spent more on like plants and landscaping, and like I probably spent 30 grand on trees for that place just to make it this oasis. Which
For sure.
30 grand really means like 4 grand in our market. 30 because the budgets are just a lot bigger. So yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think of other little cost effective things to do that are not, because a good sauna can be a little money.
I know.
The cold plunges aren't so bad,
Yeah.
but then it's like it needs to kind of be built in, or they could have bought it themselves.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't mind that for the setting you're selling at all. I would watch it, bid it out, and see if it's worth doing towards the end.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough because you want to create these like experiences,
Yeah. Yeah. And well, this is a bigger price point you've done in a different location, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just see. Let me try doing something real quick.
You could also do like a pergola with like a little mini built-in fireplace or something.
Yep.
Or
the built-in barbecues are cheap too.
Yeah. They're super cheap.
Yeah, Pat, I bought one for the Bridal Trails house, and I think I only spent like $3,800, and it came in a couple pieces, and we connected it, and then we put the paver patio on with a fire pit. Like Donnie's, I think that probably will, because everybody wants a space they can hang out. I mean, because you got the right view, the ambiance.
Totally. Yeah.
I want to check.
Really cheap. You can get some like string lights on Amazon and hang it through the pergola as well, which like gives it so much without doing anything or spending anything.
Yeah.
Pat, what's your address,
for sure?
Dude? I'm gonna let me just spot check it. I can tell when me and you chat every once in a while, like you're excited, but you're a little nervous.
2827.
2827.
Cabrini.
Can you spell that for me?
Cabrini. Drive Northwest.
What's your target number on this one?
Like 24.
Okay. 24. Yeah, and the house sold next door. And just like I know I said I knew that house. I didn't dig into this house like dramatically, dude. So I just honestly the wholesaler that called me was kind of hurting my brain when he was talking to me on the phone. I was like, dude, is it the guy out of Texas, right?
Yeah, Hudson. Yeah.
God, he's a slick Willie, dude.
I know.
And then he got really mad because I'm like, dude, you don't call me on this, call me on this other stuff. I'm a much better buyer for you. And they had wasted my time on something else before.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I just need you guys to shoot me straight. Whatever's going on, just tell me what it is, and I'll see if I can make it work or help you get it done. You don't need to like sell me a song and dance here. I'm a deal guy. Whatever I can do to get it done, I will. And if I can't, I'll let you know. And then he's trying to sell me this. I'm like, this is not my wheelhouse, dude. Like, it's just not. I don't, and I gave him quick feedback on it. And then he had he had a different deal, I guess, that he sent to a wholesaler, and I bought it. And then he called me. He's like, hey, I talked to you. I was like, yeah. He's like, you're buying my deal. I'm like, well, no, I'm buying so-and-so's deal. He's like, yeah, but me and you know each other. And I was like, yeah, but you didn't send it to me, dude. So I'm paying this. He was mad that the guy had charged 30 grand to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, dude, don't worry. I was like, he's an interesting character,
Yeah, for sure.
but he seems to grind. Okay, so that you have that one. Is there anything else? Because it's basically that same data point.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part. Like the comps are tough,
Yeah.
and I tried to find things with a dock, and then outside of that, a dock with a deep water slip.
Yep.
A lot of homes just don't have that. So
And honestly, dude, it was funny. I was thinking about this deal the other day because I'm moving my boat up north. I'm like, God, I should have just bought that house, and then I could have rented it out because I wouldn't have to pay for mortgage.
that's right.
Uh, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. One, four, three. Here's your comp. I mean, I was trying to remember. They took all the photos out that comp.
They did. Yeah.
Did
I mean,
they
they did a good job. Like it was a good flip for sure.
did they really have low bank waterfront?
No.
So I swear he told. I was like, "What's going on with the comp next door?" Bank low. What was different about this waterfront than yours?
Uh, I mean, not much. It's like a
Okay.
little bit of a tighter space. But I mean, it's literally, I mean, I can see it. I walk out on the deck and I can see it. Like it's literally right there.
All right, well, I mean, that's a good comp for you then, dude.
Yeah, it's perfect for sure. And it sold quick, but
I mean, the good thing is you don't have any competition in your price range at all.
yeah, totally. I mean, some people are just throwing their homes out there for way too much money. Um, and it's not that great of a product.
You know, don't stress yourself out, dude. It's
Yeah,
it like because
I'm just used to having comps, you know what I mean? Like I'm used to being able to kind of know.
yeah, it's and that's the hard part about luxury in other markets, right? Like when you're, I mean, it's definitely the good thing is you got good novelty here.
Yeah,
So it's about what's buyer demand. The really good thing is you're going to be the cheapest thing for sale on the water.
yeah,
You know, and so that's why I'm kind of going everywhere. I'm like, well, what's selling, what's not selling, right? And then you got this one over here. It looks like, oh, that's Fox Island. That's a different beast.
yeah.
Um, that was a cool property. I liked this one on Cromwell.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of like no deep water dock, but kind of like almost like a park setting.
Yeah.
And then you had this one, which is not going to be deep water, I don't think. I mean, I'd be more concerned if you had a bunch of $2 million houses for sale, dude.
Yeah.
I think you got a good product. You're going to be the cheapest thing right there in the water, and that's a good recipe for selling. And so, feel good about it. Don't,
Okay.
just I'm trying to now want to check that comp, see what amenities they had. I wouldn't worry about it, dude. No data right here is concerning, or I would tell you straight up.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I think cash. I would call that broker though, right here, Connie.
Okay.
Just, hey, look, I saw you sold someone cash next door. I'm renovating the house. I don't know if you got any other buyers. Let me know.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
because she probably works that zone pretty well too.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
Okay.
It's good to put it on her radar too if she's working with those clients. I mean, she seems like this is a good house. They did spend some money on those doors opening up.
Yep. Yeah, I put one of those in.
Yep. Yeah, you can get those pretty cheap at Home Depot now.
I know. Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't be worried about the data I'm seeing right now, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. All right. Thanks, James. I appreciate it.
For sure, man. Yeah, we'll have to. You know what? That's where we should do a Project RE walkthrough. Is down on the
Yeah, we
water
should.
down there when you're done.
Yeah, have a nice
We
little
can throw
party.
like a barbecue out there.
Bring your boat out.
Oh, I can bring the boat down. Oh, this is a great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, we should.
This is a phenomenal idea, actually.
You can grill it on your new built-in.
Yeah,
right.
you know what? I think this is I think that's a good call. We can do a party,
Let's do
boat
it.
down ride, and then we'll have a party in your backyard before you sell it.
I love it. I
All
love
right.
it.
When are you gonna be done with it?
First week of June.
Oh, perfect. This is gonna work out
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
cool, man.
Cool. All right. Thanks, man.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for open question. Any more last minute questions? Check the chat. Whoa. What do we say? Anyone here? Hard money lender, Louisiana. Also, oh, Donnie, what's up, buddy?
All right, if no one else has anything, I got one more for you, James. Right now, I'm going through. Long story short, I brought this up a long time ago, but I had contractors for renovations I was doing. They shuttered their business. I've been bidding it with new contractors. I found another one that could kind of hit my price points. It's still my profit, but it's not ideal. But he's just been taking forever to get back to me. Like a lot of red flags. Like it'd be like
The
3 or 4 days
contractor?
before he gets back to me. Yeah, and
I
and
don't
so
like
I'm like,
that.
okay. So I had another guy go by who I found from permit pulling and he's like incredible. He was like, I'm not going to be able to hit this for your prices. And I was like, okay, well, that's not going to work either then.
Well, but if he's incredible, find out what projects he's good at working on, though.
Yeah.
Because a lot
Well,
of times I'm buying based on what my guys are good at.
what I liked about him was that when I started because the nice thing is like I didn't have to be like give me a reference of your material or your people because the way I actually got a hold of him is I found the permits and I called and it was the broker and the broker's like, oh, it's one of my agent's deals. I called the agent. He's like, oh, this is my flip, but this is my contractor. He'll be a little delayed, but his quality is like incredible. So I had like a really honest review from somebody who had no motive. And I've seen his work obviously with sold houses. So I was like, oh, this is great. And when I started talking to him, he was talking about, he's like, it depends on your renovation. I'm not gonna put like a level 5, bring my level 5 guys to do like, level 3 work or something on blah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so I think he does a little bit higher end stuff and my stuff is higher end. But I guess what I'm struggling with right now is like, I'm starting to question if I've just got like into a weird space with like buying conditions and the economy and like I just try to exit with like as little work as possible and just like kind of break even and call it a day, or if I think I need to just be calling exponentially more contractors. And I guess what you would do in a scenario, I know that's like so vague and it's more like emotional based, but I'd help to have somebody to bounce ideas off of.
So basically, right now you're are you in a weird space because you're having problems with deals and contractors?
I'm just in a weird space because I have these 2 deals that I have purchased already that I'm, floating at a 12% interest rate that I'm like, hey, I want to get these projects started. They're a month delay. I've gone through. I had to fire one of my contractors because he started his business, and now I've gone through 3 other contractors getting bids, and they're variable. The guys who can hit my numbers don't respond for days. The guys who can't hit my numbers are immaculate and incredible to talk to. They're like true business people. So like, I'm trying to I guess I'm trying to balance like, do I roll the dice to somebody who like doesn't get back to me, which is not very enticing, or do I just need to come back to the table and be like, hey, if my price point is this, what can you do? How can we work this? Like maybe is that the angle in the conversation? Because I think I'm
with
just
the contract with the guy you like.
with the guy I like, or I mean, is it just like keep bidding more contractors. I guess what I worry about with like continuing to bid contractors is there's a point where I'm just spending a bunch of money and like no work is getting done at all, and like
Because you've already closed on it.
because I've closed on it and I've
Okay,
already
got it.
bid 3 things, and and I had somebody who was starting work and then stopped, so now I'm like a month and a half past when I was supposed to start construction.
So one question is, did the contractor give you an itemized bid?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything on there that you can go through and be like, dude, I can easily call like to keep things moving forward, sometimes I'll be like, all right, let's get him going on framing windows, whatever it is, right? And then I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't need his roof quote because I can call 45 roofers until I find the right price.
Yeah.
And what is he okay just taking on like, hey, this is kind of our first job. Can we do a test run? I'm a little tight on the numbers. Next time when I call you, I'll beef these up. But that way you keep it moving forward because how much is your payment every month?
It's like 2,200.
Okay, so it's not the end of the world. Where's this house at?
These are in Oklahoma.
Okay, so this is. I'm sorry, dude. I thought this was in LA. Okay.
No, sorry. These are no. I wish I
I was
was
like $2,200 a month in LA.
That'd be
What did you buy?
crazy.
You buy like in the basement corner or what? It's
No,
okay. So these
2,200
are
in LA. I wish I could get rent for that much.
okay. So Oklahoma, got it. Okay.
Yeah. If it was in LA, I don't think I'd have the same issues. I mean, I think I'd have an abundance of people to work with.
Okay. So Oklahoma, and this is because you weren't in Oklahoma, I think, on the last project I looked at, right?
I've been in Mississippi, Oklahoma, and LA.
Okay, we were talking
simultaneously
about
at this point.
Mississippi last time.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so Oklahoma. So you've done how many projects in Oklahoma? Because I know you've been in a few states.
Yeah, I've done 3 or 4 now with this in Oklahoma. And so I'm trying to, I mean, these two, I think originally I wasn't like coming to LA because I was like, this is too expensive, but it turns out that it's actually like not that much more expensive to be in LA. So it's just,
Yeah.
I just need to move there sooner. So I'm trying to close out my business here in Oklahoma. I just closed out my business in Mississippi. But now I'm just struggling with like the whole contractor situation. And, I think
You want to get these deals wrapped up and move on.
I just want to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, you're like now I tasted California. I want to get there. I just don't want to be in Oklahoma anymore. I get that too.
I'm like the amount of effort and time I spend on these houses is the same. Why wouldn't I go with the higher number?
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so I'm trying to think. So one contractor's kind of hitting the number, but he's like, I would not do that if I was out of town. No freaking way.
No.
How much
I do have a
much
PM
more expensive is this guy?
It's a pretty big delta right now.
How big you think?
Like 25-30% delta.
On what's the total budget?
Renovation on, well, my budget originally my budget was going to be, let's just go with one of them because they're equivalent percentage wise. But originally I was going to put in 150 into one of these projects.
So you had a big budget. This is a big fixture.
Oh yeah, no, these are full guts, and they're like more luxury homes in the state for sure.
Okay.
So they're a little bit on the higher end. Sorry, I don't know if that's and
Okay,
yeah,
so
they're like very premium.
He's at 180.
Yes. So the other guy came back at 180. That's the guy who doesn't respond to anything, and that number still works for me. Again, I'll still come out with like a 20% return, which is fine. It's not great, but for changes in what I expected, it's fine. And then the other guy's coming back. The nicer guy's coming back at like 250, like way higher.
So that doesn't work. He's just a non-starter.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling about it. And
yeah, he not only is he's 70 grand more than the other guy. He's 100 grand more than your budget, which ain't gonna work.
Yeah, than my original budget. Yeah, totally.
Because there's no money in that deal, right?
Yeah, at 250, I've eliminated all of my profit. I mean, I think I could realistically go to like 220 if I wanted to actually like literally zero out, and obviously I don't want to do that.
What about so like maybe to get it moving forward, is Windows on the scope? Like
the only thing, Windows not on scope, but everything else is. That's everything else is changing.
I'm trying to think of what he could. I mean, honestly, I'd get another bid. That's way too much of a delta. I thought it was like your budget was 150, this other guy's 180, that was 190. I was like, all right, well, what can we pull off? Because then I'd be like, okay, can I sub in a painter, right? A lot of times those guys mark up paint dramatically.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
appliances,
Oh my
take it
God.
off. Cabinets, take it off. Like I'll try to take off the simple things and then give
Yeah.
him like $140,000 worth of work, and I'm just going to take these things on because then I can shop floors, I can shop these things and grind some finishes down.
Yeah.
This is too big of a delta to start.
Here's the other thing I guess I'm wondering is like, for me to start construction, I do need a GC.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if, like, I have a PM on the floor who is like a construction background. He just doesn't have his license, and so I'm like wondering if like maybe I run this all through him and I just pay him like a small amount, honestly, and then pull in a GC for like a few specific items. I just don't know what those items necessarily would be. I know it needs to be permitted. I just don't know
How much do you got to move
where
around, like framing, plumbing, and wiring?
all of it.
Okay.
All of it.
You want the general doing your
Yeah.
framing. I would say your framing for sure.
Yeah.
I would like to have the general do framing, plumbing, and electrical if I can, and mechanicals.
Yeah.
Now, if the electrician's way too freaking high, then I'll pull that off or whatever. And then you can have your
Yeah.
PM do it. But I would try to bundle that, like even if that general can get you, because the reconfiguration and all that shit, that's where it gets complicated, right? So you want someone on it with the mechanicals.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I mean, and even if you overpay him there, that's where you can pick up the drywall cost, right? Like, okay, well, drywall, we got a lot of drywall. That cost varies dramatically right now. Like,
Yeah.
some guys charge 6, some guys charge 7, some guys charge 8, and that, you know, so you got to find the sixers in there.
Yeah.
And so I would almost get the guy just to get it going for you. And
Yeah.
pull out those numbers though, make sure they're not like 70 grand on electrical, right? Like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
because then your PM's not going to be in over his head managing that whole thing too. Like he's at least walking into like, okay, here's an established plan. I got to get insulators in here. I got to get drywallers. He doesn't have to think about the plan. He just needs to get people in and estimate it.
Yeah, this is another thing I was thinking. I also like have full confidence that I can PM this myself and just like go deal with it. I just like, I don't understand the order of operations for construction, like literally like in what order I have to do everything. So that's where it gets a little hairy, I think. But like, I know confidently I could call 100 people a day and sort this problem myself. I don't know actually how to build it myself. So gets tricky.
Yeah. No, it's I would have him, and even if it's the 180 guy, just get a general. The 250 guy, I think he's going to end up banging you for change orders if he's that far above everybody.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the 180 guy, when I bid him a long time ago when I was bidding multiple contractors the original time, and I went with a different person. But I brought him back after everything. He originally came in at like 240, and I pulled him down to 180, and I was like, that's such a crazy delta. I mean, they're definitely trying to take me for a little bit of a ride because they're like, oh, California, you know?
Oh, you got the California stank on you.
Oh yeah, they're like, oh, this guy's in California, great.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, they're like, yeah. Didn't Davey Green just move out that way?
Did he? I don't know.
I
haven't been
Very
following him.
random. Shit. You know, honestly, and if I get that read on people anyways, I'm like, fuck off. I'm gonna find someone else. Like,
totally.
But you definitely do want to get it going, right? Like,
yeah.
Now, $2,200 a month is not bad. So it's not like when I don't get it going, it's 10 grand a month.
Right. Yeah. It's not like horrible, but it's still floating costs that I'm just like eating into my numbers.
Yeah, and loss of capital and just loss of opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, that 180 guy, does he have a decent back? Like, he's not really getting back to you, but he also might be like, this guy's just fucking jerking me off. Like, sorry, I shouldn't talk. Thinking contractor talk.
He's a good dude and he does quality work. He's busy. What it feels like to me is that like these projects are interesting to him because it will give him money, which he's excited about. But he's more excited about other projects probably. That's like the read I'm getting. And so he's just slow to respond. But like when he's there, when he's like, well, we've done like FaceTime walkthroughs and everything. When he's there, he's like a good person to back and forth with. He's just like, I just like can't be waiting 3 days for a response on hey, can you send me the updated bid for both properties, not just the
Well,
one?
and you got to remember, entrepreneur, West Coast movers, East Coast movers, the people like they don't move at the same pace we may move at, right?
Totally.
I've had to learn that. Like, okay, dude, like I'm like, we need to get it done. It doesn't get done. Honestly, if it was me, to keep your budget under control, I mean, 180 to finish. I would definitely work with that guy on the 70 grand and see what you can work with on him. I mean, that's a lot of money, 70 grand difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's again, it is all of the profit.
And I would say focus on getting the deals done and moving into your new vision of where you want to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, the other thing I'm thinking about is like, I'm definitely going a little bit more premium and luxury because I know I can push the price point a lot harder, and potentially get even more for these things. But a part of me is also saying like, do I just reconsider, do what is like very middle of the pack, who cares, whatever, cut everything down a lot, don't move everything around, and just like take a small margin, move on with my day, go to the other things. That's the other option, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Okay, well, this is helpful. I appreciate just the back and forth. It's nice to have other folks to bounce this stuff off of.
No, it's yeah. Well, trust me, I made the same mistake where I try to push on. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get, and I'm like, shit, I should have just got going. But
Okay.
But yeah, so
right on.
Cool, man. All right,
Appreciate
dude.
it.
Well, have fun in China, and I'm gonna wrap it from here.
Appreciate it. Thanks all. Thanks, James.
See you guys. Bye.